because I got to unmute the mic, you know. What's going on? I knew there was something. I was looking at it and I was thinking, hang on a minute, something's going red here. Something is. Is there still no sound? Don't say that. You're all trolling me now. Everyone is trolling, and I've got a bit of delay on that now, so it can't be. I've got sound in my ears. Oh, sound now. How you doing? How is everyone doing? I was just in the moment of silence. In the moment of silence there, I was just telling every single person out there, if you enjoyed the game today with Villa Maccabi, it was 2-0, I believe, to Villa. So that's a great home win. And they even managed to scare off the Islamists. I didn't think that was going to happen, to be fair. I thought that the Islamists would come out in all their numbers and they'd come out, you know, with the anger that we saw at Whitechapel. But, you know, just yeah, just they didn't do it. And yes, Haley's there. How you doing? Hope you're well. She's just off of AY's and Mystic Streams. There's loads of streams happening today. We had lots and lots and lots of good stuff, and AY got a couple of good stuff as well. So hopefully that'll all be clipped out and ready for the morning when the police were saying about the face coverings. There was a section 60 AA, which means that they've got to remove the face coverings if they want to. And the old Bill was like, "I'm not going in there." He's like, "Listen, you gotta be real. The law's the law." And they were like, "No, we're not going in there." But evening, Heather, I hope you're well. But yeah, so it's gonna be a quick one because I've had a notice in the area of, what area is it now? Medway Council, anyway. So I had, see it going off. The phone keeps going off every single minute of this evening. So there's been some mad stuff happening, right? On the weekend of Remembrance Sunday, these councillors and councils are going around taking down every single flag, and they're making these big points of saying, you know, we don't like division and we don't like that. But hang on a minute, this is the time that we need flags. This is the time, you know, we'd prefer flags than the Christmas decorations, and they're not having it. So there's going to be a mass flagging tonight, I think, and yeah, I'm just waiting for the updates on that. So it's not going to be that long, I don't think, anyway. But let's just see this. Yeah. Boom. So anyway, we was here, right? Because all week I've been telling people, let's not go into fear. Let's not propagate the fear. And people are like telling me, like, Dan, why? Why would you even be saying things like that? Because the fear is what brings people out, right? That's what people come out on the street, because they fear for the Islamization coming into the area, or they fear that they're going to lose control, or the immigrants are going to be taking over. And it's not even that type of fear. It's a government fear. And when people push some things, yes, free young Bob, but this is part of it as well. So what happens today in Villa is part of the system. It's part of the process, I think. And I'm not going to go too deep because I'm going to do an actual video so I can put B-roll up and I can show people exactly what is going on. The police on stream saying that they don't want to remove them, about the section 60 AA. What about this one? Would you like many viewers? Let's make you popular. See, these things here, right? Here we go. Right, these things here is what people use. These are farm bots and these are stream bots, and they will. If I pay this person should we just do it? If I pay them like $60, they'll suddenly give you 6,000 views. It's crazy. It goes on all the time. People use it all the time, and yeah, they shouldn't do. But anyway, right? So fear. Let's go on to the fear situation because it's so important. So then, the fear that the government are using is putting everyone against each other because they know that there can't be any type of unity. There can't be a unification on the right, same way as it can't be a unification on the left. Same way as we don't fear the far right. They call us far right all the time, and we're like, yeah, cool. Do you know what I mean? That's us. That's concerned citizens. But the same way as what they'd say to the Islamists, they ain't scared of Islamism. They're like, yeah, cool, we love Sharia law. We want that. This is what we have to abide by. But when you start switching it around and you start firing the shots in different directions to different people, then the Islamists are scared of the far right, and the far right are scared of the Islamists in this occasion. The left scared of the conservatives. It's mental. It goes up and up and up, and every single level we get to, every step we get to, every time we level up a little bit more, they take a little bit of our freedoms, they take a little bit of our rights, they implement new laws. And I was just looking into this, so let's just go through this, because that's why we're here. We'll do what the stream said, we'll do what the title is, so everyone gets what they want to, and then we can go and see what's going on with the rest of the world. All right, so every terror, every crash, every emergency for decades, literally, it's been a playbook for the globalists. They ramp up the fear, and this is why we can't have people in fear saying we need emergency regulations. The train, the guy gets stabbed in the train. He stabs up 10, 12 people. I don't know if he murdered the person, or is it just attempted murder? And then everyone's calling for airport style security. That's crazy, because the same way you look at it, if a train crash happens, they don't say there needs to be seatbelts on the train. So there is a definite agenda. So if we go back, right, we'll go through a timeline step by step, and we're going to show you every single bit of this picture. And this is how they are using fear to build the digital cage that is going around us. And it's not even from today. It's not even from 10 years ago. Let's go to 9/11, right? And everyone's going to be like, oh, Danny's going to say it's the Jews. It's this. Well, no. Well, let's just get to the facts, because we can go down certain roads if we want to, because I've got facts. I've got pages of facts, right? So the North Atlantic, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, you'll know that as NORAD. They were literally running a hijack situation, a simulation on 9/11, right? And that probably helped people. So can you hear me breathing? I can hear me breathing on this. It's literally, it was running the hijacking drills, which means that when the plane did get through, did the plane get through because they didn't realize that it wasn't part of the simulation or not? You've got to understand that. But it made more people in the sky, and it made it harder for the normal people back in 2000. When was 9/11? 2001? When was it? I don't know. Anyway, but we didn't have the internet capabilities. We didn't have what we have now. We didn't have too much of YouTube, right? So it was harder for people to pinpoint. But what it did was it allowed the Patriot Act to come into place, and this was rushed through the Congress, right? No one really read it. No one really understood it. You got warrantless wiretaps, you got secret courts, you got dragnet surveillance for millions of people. You got, what was it called? Section 215. I've got it here. Section 215 authorized the mass collection of phone records. Data hoovered up from the National Security Office or whatever they are, these sneak and peeks. And the sneak and peek warrant is when they see if you're out, they open your door, they go in your house, and they look around, and then they leave. So you don't actually know they've been there. This has all been routine. You've got feds in your life every minute of the day if they wanted to. Every time you leave that door, they could come in. It's crazy. All of these were said this is temporary measures because we need to know who the terrorists are. We need to know who these people are. So we need these temporary measures. But we look at it now 20 years on. They're still there. People are still complaining about it. Sorry about this, keeps going off. People still complain about it. Fucking more shit. Absolutely more shit. All right, so it's temporary measures. Anyway, We know that Edward Snowden, he exposed all the programs like the Prism and the what was it, X Keystone. None of them has been dismantled, and they've all been rebranded. Right. So that culture of see something, say something, it was burned into our minds. Even here, see something, say something. Right. So the fear of more people putting planes into the sky, which had never been done before, and they were planning on the day for this, that had caused the Patriot Act, which is still here today. So we'll go to number 2, which is going to be the 2008 financial crisis. Right? We all know what happened. We all know that Wall Street subprime lending market collapsed, but there was no punishment for Wall Street. There was no punishment for the globalists, for the Rothschilds and all these people. The reward that these people got was over £700 billion bailout. We had it in the UK, and there was, especially in America, there was trillions and trillions of pounds secretly, or dollars, secretly put in to the Federal Reserve, just so these banks wouldn't fully crash. Who paid for that then, right? It's us, the people. Every country that had these bailed out, HSBC or Royal Bank of Scotland, whatever one it is in the UK, we were still bailing it out years and years later using our money, right? No one got arrested. No one really got charged for it. A few people would have got a golden handshake and left, but that is it. The real winners of all this, though, who do you think? It's going to be the IMF and the World Bank, who we don't elect. We don't know who they are. The Royal Bank of England, we don't really elect them or know who they are. And they're unaccountable. They've imposed such brutal austerity measures on the world. Look at what it did to Greece. Look at what it did to France, Iceland. The banks got bigger and their executives got richer. Again, with no accountability. See, the elites, they use that crisis to expand their global control, while, all of us got less rich, we got poorer, and we got more powerless, didn't we? Well, what can we do against the bank? And now look at the power these banks have. These banks have so much power over us. And you got to wonder where this power has actually come from and why do they want to hold it? But we're going to get to that in a minute, because we're going to go to number 3, which is the climate emergency. These is step-by-step fear. Your fear of your money. We don't want the banks to collapse, because you remember Northern Rock? Was it Northern Rock, the Newcastle one? It went down. People were trying to take out the money, and then all of a sudden they said, well, there's no more money left in there. It's all gone. So your bank balance is kind of gone, and it's not really secured, but, we might be able to help you out. This is the fear with money. See, with the economic fear, that seems to disappear over time. We seem to forget about it. We're like, yeah, it's all right. We got the new regulations with the bank. We're getting better as a country. The bailouts and the crashes and everything like that, it's not really affecting us now, and we're getting more money in our pocket. So we forget about it. So then they got to bring another fear in, and that is the climate fear. It's not a debate on science. We don't have to debate about this, but it is state-driven guilt. That's all it is. Greta Thunberg, she wasn't there just for this poor child. She just goes outside the Norwegian or wherever she comes from, fucking Sweden, outside their prime minister's house or outside their 10 Downing Street, their offices of parliament, and has a protest every Friday. You think this wasn't staged? We all know this is staged. We've got the Paris Agreement that was set up to for global carbon markets. Now we've got ESG. We've got a digital scoring system that tells companies, and they put it on their packets, that tells us how much carbon we would use. This is normalization. We're not scared of this. This is not a fear like that, but it's still a fear that is driving into us, because now we're thinking about carbon credits. Now when the digital IDs come out, they are going to be tracking you in the footprint. Your quota for carbons is on the horizon. Very, very soon, we are going to be in that system where you'll be selling your carbon footprint to go on holiday. Who can sort me out some credits? Give me 200. I need to go to Greece. Give me 200 credits. Even in the EU, right? Even in the EU, they've got certain wallets, certain digital wallets. They're piloting with personal carbon limits. So they're giving you a carbon limit. They're seeing how it works. And that's what they do. They see how it works, because as soon as that becomes a control mechanism, then it's going to go to your purchase. Then it's going to see what you're purchasing, all the data when you purchase. Then it's going to see where you're traveling. It's going to, see every bit of your traveling life. So the fear there is, I can't even think today, bruv. I can't even think. The climate emergency. Oh no, we're all going to die. But we can sort it out. The governments can sort it out. If you just have this and you just have these carbon credits, we'll be all right. Then what happens? COVID. All right. For months before we know about Gates and John Hopkins and the World Economic Forum, they all run Event 21 or Event 201. It's 21 because, well, I call it 21 because of the date that it's supposed to have come out. I believe it did come out slightly earlier. Someone messed up at the Wuhan facility, or they just knew that we were primed. We were ready for it at that time. We had so many people were putting into our minds that, you can't go out, you can't do this. China was sending all of these TV messages of people dying right there. People brought into it, right? But this was all part of their exercise that they did in Event 201. They knew exactly what to do, and they knew exactly where they could exploit their money. You got to say, oh no, we've got no gowns, we've got no gloves or anything like that. They knew that would happen. That's why they knew they'd get rich on it. That's why they knew that they could get their mates down the fast lane who was a carpenter, and now all of a sudden he can import these gloves. He can import gowns and he can import stuff. It's absolutely crazy. But what did they do? They said an NHS app. So they've got the fear. Everyone's pushing the fear. And then straight there, here's another thing that we need you to have. We need you to have the NHS app. We need you to have India's tracing platform. America, there was COVID safe. Every region had a digital ID tracking you. It was corporate, state-sponsored propaganda from the beginning to the end. And this is what it is, because people were pushing the emergency. People were pushing the fear. People were dividing in the families. All of this. Every single one of this has had division. You knew some people who were climate crazy and some people who were normal. You knew some bankers who were rich. People who are not even poor, but people who did worse in that situation. People who, their shares went down. They've only got a few shares, and they were hoping that it was coming up. It was going up until everything crashed down. But who got rich on that? We all know who got rich. Certain people in certain political parties. So this is what I'm saying anyway, people. I'm rabbing it on anyway. Every attack, the same script is recycled, right? Even now. So we've got attacks on the streets, we've got attacks in the trains, we've got attacks here, there, and everywhere. And it is recycled because there's always going to be that hero migrant, right? There is. This is why, this is how they can divide you even more. Because now we all know bad shit happened. We all know the stuff on the train was very, very bad. We know that the Manchester Arena, nothing good come from that. Yet people out there are legitimately saying, well, actually, don't worry about all the people who died. Don't worry about all the kids who have been murdered, all the people who have been slaughtered, because there was one migrant and he's the representative of all of them. So that means that it wasn't totally bad. And then they start forgetting about all the stuff that happened and focus on this one thing because that's what they want to believe. They want these people, like now, you're talking to me about this Algerian savior after Huntington. Again, Huntington. This was an exercise the 2 months ago, 3 months ago on the same bit of track, the same train. The same thing happened. And what did they do? They brought out an Algerian guy who saved the day. Why did they do that? Because now everyone's focusing on that. And then they're saying, well, actually, you lot must be racist if you don't agree with this one guy. You lot must be far right. It's the media's go-to slur. It's wielded against any single person who challenges the establishment's line. But anyone on the right or anyone on the right of centre knows it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. But what we have to understand is we just can't bullshit with it. Don't fuck with it, right? Just ignore it because this is what they want you to focus on. Meanwhile, we're going to have real incidences happen and everyone's just too focused. We're all focused on this now. Well, okay, cool. But we're all forgetting that airport style, everyone's begging, oh, we've got to have tasers, self-defense, so everyone's looking everywhere else, right? And then they come across and say, yeah, we'll have airport style security at the train stations. All right, cool. What do you need at an airport? We need a passport. Okay, so if we've got airport style security at train stations or major intersections, you're going to need a passport. We'll give you a travel pass. So you get a travel pass. Some people have got the NHS app. You got your banks who, you can do it. You can buy shit through your phone. All of these things are adding up, one after another, after another. Oh, you know what? Do you want to track your carbon? No, I don't. But I guarantee you there's an app out there. You can zap the barcode and it will tell you exactly what it is, right? It's there, people. It's there. We can't not look at these things instead of looking at the original incidences in what they are. We just can't fuck with this fear propaganda pushing. We've got to understand, hang on a minute. They're going to be wanting us to do something. You got to look at it. You've got to look at it like this, right? You got to say there's an incident happened. Was there a drill? Yes, there was a drill beforehand, right? Maybe not the same week. It might have been a year ago. But in recent memory, there's drills happening. Cool. Is there a hero? Is there a token hero? London, that in the street. Well, do you remember the security guard? Something happened in the street. Someone was getting stabbed, and it was a white guy. I think the guy was from one of those Eastern European countries, and they didn't really worry about that story too much because what they wanted to push to you that the security guard is Indian. He was a good guy. He was everywhere. He's the good guy. Don't look at this. Look at the token, right? Got the token hero here, and then see what they're trying to push through or what they want you to beg for. Because like digital ID, like digital ID, I said they're going to crash the system and then they'll give you 20 grand in these digital passport wallet folders, whatever you want to call it. They'll say to you, if you have a digital ID, we'll give you 20 grand. You get to keep your house. You get to do all this, right? You're going to be calling out for that. You're going to be like, yes, I want that. And that's what they want. And that's where they want it. They don't want to be imposing it onto you. They want you to say it. So when all of this, when you see a lot of fear going on, just ignore it. Ignore it. Look at the bigger picture. Look to see what they're going to be manipulating from you. And when they do manipulate it, you got to tell them, no, I'm not doing that because we're going to be together as a people. Because if you're together as a people, just like COVID, just like tonight at Villa Park, they couldn't do nothing. They couldn't do nothing. But I'm guarantee you, if that not that many people turned up, if people stayed at home because fear got the better of them Islamists would have been running around. They would have been making it out as if it was 50,000 people they had there, but there wasn't, and we knew that. We knew what was going on. We knew that they couldn't lie. So look, we got the information here. We got it all. We got it all. Look, this is what it was. This is Villa Park today. There you go. That's the Islamists. That's the Islamists there. It wasn't. There's more police. There's more police and private security. But I can guarantee you, had the people of Birmingham mainly, there was, yeah, of course there were streamers down there from London, from Manchester, from all over. Of course there was. But the majority of people that there standing were people from Aston, or people who wanted to go to the game, or people who couldn't go to the game because they normally go with their children. The only winners at this whole thing, right? If the Islamists are saying that they want to be winners, right? The only winners were the kids because they didn't get cold watching the football, right? Apart from that, that was just a divisive action. It divided Muslims and normal Villa people. They're divided now. They're not going to live in lockstep anymore. They're going to be like, you know what? Yeah, you're doing this. There's not going to be harmony. So now the Islamists are going to be like, oh, do you know what? There's a lot of Islamophobia going on here. The kid's going to be like, I wanted to watch that football game. I couldn't. Why couldn't I do it? Because the Muslims, right? They were counter protesting for some reason because of something to do with Israel, right? Then they're going to be like, oh, some people will be like, oh, I don't, fuck Israel because I couldn't go to the game. We've got the 18 to 25-year-olds. A lot of them are they're not for Israel, they're not for Palestine, and that's going to be stronger. This is the situation, and this is where we're at now. And also it puts people in a position as well, right? With all this Islamist stuff, right? Because they're all saying about Zionism, and they're saying about blah 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 blah. Palestine has got to be the best, but it's one or the other. But there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people, millions of people out there who don't fuck with Palestine, who don't really care for Israel, but they'll say that they don't like Zionism. But what he's doing is he's putting people together, opposites together. So you've then got to say, well, actually, I don't want to be with the Muslims and the pro-Palestine lot, yeah. But I'm not really down with all that Zionism stuff and all of that. But I've got to stay on this side because they're telling me there's only two sides. We've got to stop all this black and white stuff, as in looking at things, because the grey matter in the middle, that massive bit of grey matter, which is full of fear, full of emergency regulations, that's what's running the world. And we've got to start living in that grey matter. We've got to start looking at it and saying, well, you know what, yeah, we've got to look at it a lot proper. But anyway, let's look at the chat. Let's look to see what is happening. Oh, I've just lost so many of these things. I've lost too many of these. I can't even do it. Let's go to the bottom. Right. Curse. Oh, big up Curse 10. Big up. I didn't even have the chat up. Big up Jutes. Big up everyone who wants to come in. Shall I put a link out? Well, I'm going to go off in probably half an hour. I'll put a link out though. Because I see Dupes is in there. I haven't spoken to Dupes for a while. She might come up. It's on a StreamYard as well. But yes, Play Store has a carbon footprint. Right. Ban again. Yes, I see that Amy does try to wind someone up every time that she's on. Spicy. Yeah, our new Spice Girl. You've worked hard these past few days. Hats off to you. Who's Spicy? Who are you, Spicy? Oh, Jeeps is in the studio. Or Arguan.
Yeah, I'm glad you said only half hour though, because I'm shattered as well. Today's been exhausting watching all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's. I watched some of it. I had people there, so they're just sending me loads and loads of stuff, and it was just like, It
was good that people went. I agree with you. I think there had to be a sort of like show of solidarity and stuff. But I don't know. Did you see AY's stream?
Yeah, I was going in and out of them all. To be fair, there's a few
He managed
there.
to
So
speak to the Muslim side, got a couple of conversations, but
yeah,
boy, hate he got in his side chat for it.
who you got
AY,
hate for it?
yeah,
For what?
mad. They were saying that AY's a lefty. Why is he talking to them? Get out of there.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what this is exactly what I've been just talking about tonight. This is exactly it. Yeah, you have to choose one side or another, and I've been down part of that. I've been part of that. Yeah, so I'm responsible now. But now I'm looking at stuff, and I'm like, it's not what we're looking. It's not what we're seeing. So AY is going there, yeah, and he's talking over to the Islamists, right? But he's talking. There's a connection there. So if he sees one Islamist who's actually all right, like Tamwa, what's his name? The prophet, not prophet. The Imam of Peace, right?
Yeah,
All
yeah, I
you
know
need
what you
is
mean.
one person like the Imam of Peace, right? And then you've got good dialogue going on. It's the same as young Bob when he was talking to the Sheikh. They had an all right dialogue going on. And this is where we need to try and find a common ground, because we shouldn't be fighting each other now. We need to fight the Islamists. We need to fight every single person that wants badness for this country. But we know that the government, they're the ones that are going to be coming down onto us the hardest. And if we're not right about now are going to be standing up against the government, then we need to start making alliances. And you don't like I said, you don't have to like these people. If we live in a grey area, you don't have to be in lockstep with them. You don't have to love them or enjoy what they do. But if you can find a bit of a common ground, then that's another person for against the government. As soon as we're united, they hate it. They can't win.
I totally agree with you. I've always said communication is going to be the way. And I don't think that a lot of people understand that sometimes it's just like negotiation. If you're a good business person, you know how to negotiate. And it's very similar when you're down on the ground talking to ordinary people. You don't have to treat them with negativity and hate all the time. If you can try and be sort of like friendly and approachable, you actually get the conversations and find out what they're actually thinking. I mean, some of it was quite obviously predictable, for them, they want to talk about Tommy Robinson all the time when we know it's even bigger than Tommy Robinson. It's not just about Tommy Robinson.
This is the thing.
Which is crazy that their go-to all the time is Tommy this, Tommy that, Tommy this.
But that's their thing. Their thing is Tommy, yeah. This is their thing, right? Again, it's the whole situation, and there needs to be a proper conversation on all this, because all this is just nonsense for the UK. Yeah, all the Palestine Israel shit is nonsense for the UK. Yeah, even Tommy saying that I'm a Zionist, he knows that winds up the other people. He knows that the other people are going to be coming against him for that. So all of that should just be like, we need to remove it somehow from the whole of our society, and then we will be more harmonious, right? But they say that Tom is a Zionist and he's the main person here, and they're always going to do it because that suits their narrative. If you take away them two bits, Tommy and Zionism, what have they got? They've got nothing to talk about.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
The Israel tour, that was, just ammunition for them. It was like a bowl of cereal. They could get things every single minute of day. Every video was coming out. These people, these pro-Palestinian, putting loads of stuff out, winding us up. Everyone's kicking back, fighting back. You can't say that about Tommy. And if you look at it, like normally, you can see where you can see where they're coming from. But again, you're not on their side. You're not a Palestinian person, but you've got to stop all this nonsense fighting, because these people above us, these people who have the laws against us, they're just laughing. They're looking at them. Look at them idiots. They're all fighting, and we're taking away their rights. We're taking everything away from them, and they're all fighting over wars thousands of miles away.
I do agree with you with that conversation, but I do think it was important that he did speak to Jews and explain the difference between left-leaning Jews and right-leaning Jews, even though it's common sense to most people anyway. And, a lot of the conspiracies bore out the fact that the Jewish people that are actually giving other Jewish people a bad name are the left-leaning ones that are in bed with the wokeists and the liberalists and the same factions that we've got problems with here that are pushing the agenda for the globalists. I think that was important. But I do understand what you're saying with where a lot of people have gone, oh, yeah, he's sold us out. He should be here talking about Britain, this, that and the other. I get it. But I do think that there was a part of it that was important. But then I also get the people's feeling of it's all very well communicating with these people, but all the while that we're communicating with them, they still want unfettered immigration, and that's what we've got to stop.
Yeah, we need to stop it all, and I don't see how that trip solved anything. Or do you know what? A lot of things. Sorry, I didn't catch the end of it anyway. But a lot of things going back to the trip, a lot of things I think in that was just a lot of it was against us. Was saying, oh, you know, you need to do better and blah blah blah. Not even with Tommy, just how they were talking and how they were doing. It was a good trip for him personally. It was a good spiritual trip for him personally. But there's a lot of things around it that I didn't like. You know, and I speak out about it. You know, it makes no difference to me because the truth is truth. You can't hide the truth.
Like what? I mean, I know a lot of people. There were some people.
Like out there. I'm trying to get it up now. That's what I was when I was talking.
Yeah, show me it and we'll discuss it because I haven't watched every stream that he did out there.
No, it's not even the stream. It's let me just get it. Let me just get the whole thing right. Who was it? Because it's important that there's a person there. Oh, actually, it's on my X. It's on my X. Wait there. Sorry, people.
That's okay.
Right. So let me just look at this. So anyway, my issues with the trip. Yeah, I loved it. He went out there and he was going to be doing some diplomacy for the UK. That's great. Then I realised that there's loads of other people going over there as well that no one really talk about. Winston Marshall, Tommy, Liam Tufts, and Alex Phillips. They're not really connected, apart from Tommy and Liam. The political stuff's not really connected, is it? There's two reform, there's two advanced, let's just say. There's two right-wing, two left-wing people there. Then you got the prophet, the apostate prophet. He was over there. Then you have a whole bunch of American influencers over there, all at the same time, all spitting out the same type of stuff. Now, to me, that was a bit crazy, right?
Do you not think, though, that there might have been that the Israelis themselves, and I'm just guessing now, but from bits and pieces that I did hear, especially because I see his Tel Aviv address, do you not think it might be that they've realised that the left have been paying influencers quite huge sums of money to put out propaganda, and that maybe they were calling influencers that they might have thought was on their side to speak for them, you know, back in Britain? Do you think that might not be what was going on a little bit as well?
But why would we need that?
Well, I guess Israel needs it, but I think that we do, as a Western bloc, need to stick together under the current climate, don't you?
But no, what I'm saying is, why would they need influencers to go over there to do special tours whilst they influence more MPs in the UK than any other party? They lobby them in the UK more than any other party. They're more present, yeah. So if the diplomats can't do it, what can the influencers do? They can come back and they can say, you know what, Israel is this, Israel is that, blah blah blah, and everyone's having a mass, what's it called, a mass psychological thing, right?
Yeah,
so they all can say, yeah, they call it something. I need to get
psychosis. Yeah.
No, it's not psych. It's a program. It's
Oh, okay.
I can't remember. Anyway, so they say, yeah, Israel is good, right? But what would be the point in that? How would that benefit us by saying Israel's good? Because all what's going to happen if we say that, then we're going to say, do you know what? Let's send more and more missiles over there. Let's send more and more money over there. Let's put more people over there, right? Let's put more people in the diplomatic services. Let's get more involved into it. And then when you're involved in that type of stuff, what do you have to do? You have to do refugees, don't you? So if you're displacing people, you have to bring them back. So we are literally going to be saying, yeah, that's all cool. Let's continue that. That's not going to. I don't buy the whole fact that if Israel falls, the whole of the West falls. I do not get that at all. Right, that's just not me. Let them deal with their stuff. If they need help, we can be it diplomatically. I've always said that. That's always been my position on it, right? But we don't need people to go over there on tours, secret tours. They're not even saying it. Alex Phillips never said it. These things, and the Winston
I didn't
Marshall,
even know that she went there. I didn't even
Winston
know
Marshall never even said that he was over there with all these people. It's only because he got caught in a picture that you can put it together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting.
Right. I'm trying to find the official documentation, right? Because it will back what I've set up, and I can't bloody find it now. And essentially, who's this? See, I've got to be careful of these people because there might be lefty magazines. Do you know what I mean? But But anyway, let's just go so everyone knows. I don't know if fucking Skywalks is right, but it was one by the Jewish Chronicle. Actually, I wanted to search that. Hasbara Jewish Chronicle. And this is the thing: people will be like, here we go. Here we go. Avoiding wasting time. What's this one? And this is this is the stuff about people involved in it. Right. So, sorry, Dupes.
No, it's all right. I'd rather you explain it to me. And I'm quite happy to have this.
Well, I'm going to go Wikipedia just for the overall bit, right? And we might get to the names of the people who are involved because it's a government program and it's been bona fide because a guy in America, a company in America said that they were receiving money to take our influences out of there, right? Anyway, so they're the ones kind of maybe whistleblowed it. Where's my bloody thing? Oh, that's why, because we're all there. Right. What am I doing? Presenting, sharing my screen. Right. So here, can you see that or not?
No, you're not showing nothing. Oh, okay, you
there
are
we
now.
go. Right. Let's do this. Is that too much? Let's get it all ready. And we do this. Right. So the public diplomacy of Israel, or Hasbara, includes mass communication and individual interaction with foreign nationals through social and traditional media, as well as cultural diplomacy. Organizations involved include IDF spokesperson unit, the Prime Minister's office, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, pro-Israel civil society organizations. Historically, these efforts have evolved from being called propaganda by early Zionists, with Theodore Herz advocating for such activities in 1899, right? The more contemporary Hebrew term of Hasbara, introduced by this guy, Nahum Soklow, which means explaining. This communicative strategy seeks to justify actions and considered reactive and event-driven, right? So, different types have been used to describe Israel's and other actors' efforts to reach audiences abroad. See, this doesn't really say it. I don't know. This is. Oh yeah. Consider focus. I need to find this fucking post. Let me try and find this post here. I'll pull it out of my stuff. But anyway,
just explain it roughly in your own words, if you can.
Well, basically, the
Yeah,
Hasbro unit. All right, let me tell you. Basically, the Hasbro unit, in my own words, the guy who sent out Tommy to go to Israel, he's in
yeah.
charge of it, and he's introduced millions and millions of more money into it, right? But basically, it is a unit that puts people, it sends out brings these people in, has a good fact finding mission, and then goes back and spreads the word. Right. So basically, it's influencing people when it doesn't need to be influenced. You know what I mean? But they're spending a lot of money. It's not like 20 quid or here or there. They're spending a lot of money on people to do this. There's a whole unit of changing your perception. And that there is my main problem. Because if you've got whatever perception you've got of it, right, that should be your position. You shouldn't have people, to me, it's kind of like positive propaganda. Should you have positive propaganda? Should that be allowed? Do you know what I mean? And when these people have got a whole office, it's a government department with funding that they go into their budgets and say, well, this is the amount of money that we're going to be using to make sure that people have a positive opinion of us. Do you think that's right?
I think all countries do that, don't they? Wasn't that meant to be what ambassadors were for? Not to just negotiate between countries, but to represent in other lands and to make sure that there was unions and stuff.
Yeah, that's government on government. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think in the world that we live in today, I don't see that as being. So imagine that in England, we had a load of influencers that we wanted to, and the Americans had a bad way of looking at us. Would we want to try and influence them to look at us in a more positive light? Yeah, of course we would. And if we wouldn't see anything wrong if we had people doing that on behalf of England, would we?
Of course. You have no problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with people going out and telling people how good we are. It depends.
It's not going out. It's not going out though, is it? It's not going out. This is the problem. If people go out and say, do you know what? Yeah, this is such a good place. I'm coming to the UK. Yeah, it's such a good place, right? But it's a technicality of terms, and I wasn't prepared for this. So all stuff's in all different places, right? But it's a technical term for things.
So are you saying that these people are going out and putting out lies? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that it's lies that are being told.
I'm not saying it's lies. But I'm not saying it's something that they would have said on their own.
Okay, but
do you know?
I don't. Why do you think that? Okay, explain to me why you think that that's harmful to the UK.
Like I said, I think it's harmful to the UK because it's bringing us into a different style of politics. It's bringing us into all this Palestine thing, all of this the war and the arguments that are going on. It's going to bring us in if we have a positive. If we say, okay, cool, yeah, no, we have to, like what people are saying, right? We have if Israel falls, the West falls. This is what a lot of people are saying now, right? So people will say, yes, we have to do that by any means necessary. So then we're going to be spending off all of this money. We're going to be putting off all of these bombs and all of this stuff, right, over to them. But you still have a moral duty that if you're doing that and it's causing, any type of issues, it doesn't matter, even if you're dropping it on Israel, right? You have that moral duty to say, we can't really say that, we can't take them in. Do you know what I mean? We can't really, if we've got a little bit of a hand in there, we can't then say turn around to the courts or whatever, because we're not a sovereign nation at the moment. We can't just turn around and say, oh, we're not taking them in. They'll be like, well, you did this, them bombs dropped on this, so you got a moral responsibility. So we'll be sending in all these Palestinians.
I get that, but
if we could have said, do you know what, I don't care. We're not sending nothing. It's the war's going on. The war's going on. That's it. Yeah, it's not really got anything to do with us. And if this country, that's what I say, might's right. Yeah, that's what people say. Might's right.
Okay, I'm getting
don't
you,
they?
but would you equally say the same about Palestine as well? Because as long as you,
No
as
one's
long as
going to Palestine. I know we've got Qatar and we've got all them people doing the propaganda, which I'm against as well. I'm against all these people like Bush Sheikh. I'm against people like Lubna. I'm against all these people who are trying to put a positive spin, right, a positive propaganda on these
yeah,
people or on these things. I'm against it. I've got my opinion. I've got what I look for, what I believe. If I like this, if I don't like this, do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's brought me into a situation where
I
I don't even want to be. I don't care enough really to say about whether or not these people, whether or not this is a Zionist or this. I don't really care about all of that. But what I do care is propaganda is a propaganda thing. And when I use
yeah.
propaganda, I'm not using the right word, right? Because it is
I do kind of get what you're saying, because I do know that there's channels out there, and I'm not going to say which channel, but
mass consciousness,
there is.
mass consciousness systems. Go on.
Okay, no, there is. I kind of get what you're saying, because there is channels out there that they say that they're patriots, but they seem to spend most of their time arguing about the Jewish people. And I think actually you sound like you're pro-Jewish rather than actually pro-British. But at the same time, you have to remember that we have got British Jews, let me put it that way, and that they
Let's deal
are
with them. Yeah,
and they're under threat just like us in this country,
of course.
from the
But they're
same
British Jews.
enemy. So that is why we're united with them.
But they're
You
British
understand?
Jews,
Yes,
right? They're
yes,
British Jews. So because they're British, it's our problem. It's the situation here. It's our people.
yes,
It's the British people. So we've got to do it. So when the Palestinian people are out on the street, we have to be there to support them. To be there to say, do you know what? Fuck off. Do what you're doing. Yeah, right. You
yeah.
lot are there. We can war with them. We can do it online. We can do all of that stuff. I'm not anti-Jewish. I'm not anti-Israel. Right. But so that's a British problem.
But what you are, I
Israel
know,
is not
I
an
think,
Israel problem. They won't come and save me. Have they come here? Have they said anything about the Islamists? Have they said anything about the jihad? Have they said anything about the girls? Apart from what they're talking about, Tommy, have they come and as Benjamin Netanyahu, has he come to Keir Starmer and said X, Y, and Z about the grooming gangs, X, Y, and Z about what you're doing to the people? You shouldn't be doing this, and we're taking you to task like Donald Trump did. I haven't heard it. So they don't care that as much as what we're forced to be doing onto them. To me, it makes no sense.
I
And
kind of get what you're saying. But Netanyahu can't come here, can he? Because hasn't our stupid government said that if he steps on our land, isn't there some situation with, I don't
I don't
know,
know. I
arresting
don't
him
know.
and all that rubbish or something?
I don't know. But I found the thing here, and I do want to say it because people will clip this anyway. And
Yeah, go
you
on,
know,
read it. It
it
makes me
is what it
understand
is.
it.
Well, basically, right? It says here, and this was done in when was it? 24th of June 2024, right? So last November, just weeks into the war in Gaza, Amachi Chikili, the guy who brought over Tommy, the 42-year-old minister in the Israel government, was called into the Knesset, Israel's parliament, to brief lawmakers on what could be done about the anti-war protests from young people across the United States, especially at elite universities. It brings you onto the Charlie Kirk thing as well. It
Yeah.
brings you onto a lot of things in America. And what Netanyahu said as well. So I said it before, and I say it again. I think that we should, especially in the United States, be on the offensive. Argued Chile. So he wants United States to be on the offensive to defend Israel against all this stuff. That's fine. That's cool. Chile has since left he has led a targeted push to counter critics of Israel. The Guardian's uncovered the evidence to show how Israel has relaunched a controversial entity as part of the broader public relations campaign to target US college campuses and redefine anti-Semitism in US law. Seconds after a smoke alarm subsided during a hearing, Chikili assured the lawmakers that there was new money in the budget for a pushback campaign, which was separate from the more traditional public relations and paid advertising content produced by the government. It included 80 programs already underway for advocacy efforts to be done in the concert way. The concert remark referred to a sprawling relaunch of a controversial Israeli program initially known as Kela Shlomo, designed to carry out what Israel called mass consciousness activities, targeted largely at US and Europe. Concerts, now known as the Voices of Israel, previously worked with groups spearheading a campaign to pass so-called anti-BDS, whatever that is, probably anti-Israel stuff. The state laws that penalize Americans for encouraging boycotts and other non-violent protests of Israel. Right, so this law that will penalize Americans in America. So Israel Israel wants to go in America and say you should be punishing your people for having anti-Israel stuff. I think
I don't agree with that.
His latest incarnation is part of a hardline and sometimes covert operation by the Israeli government to strike back at student protests, human rights organizations, and other voices of dissent. The latest Voices' latest activities were conducted through non-profits and other entities that often do not disclose donor information. From October through to May, Chikili was overseen at least 32 million shekels, or about 8.6 million, spent on government advocacy to reframe the public debate. It didn't take long for one of the American advocacy groups to closely coordinating with his ministry, the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy, to score a powerful victory. And that goes on about the funding that it got. But yeah, to bolster what other American groups tied to the Voices of Israel have pursued a range of initiatives to bolster support for the state of Israel. One such group listed publicly as a partner, the National Black Empowerment Council, published by an open letter from the Black Democratic politicians pledging solidarity with Israel. So they pledged solidarity with Israel, and then they funded them. Do you see what I'm saying? Another group, Cyberwall, a pro-Israel anti-disinformation group led by former Israeli military intelligence and Voices officials, has established itself as an official trusted partner to TikTok and Meta, helping both social platforms screen and edit content. A recent Cyberwell report called for Meta to suppress the popular slogan "From the river to the sea." Yeah, I agree with that. Palestine will be free. I agree with that bit. Yeah, but that should be just standard anyway, because it is calling for the death of the people. The spokesperson for Cyberwell responded that it receives no government funding whatsoever from any country, and the organization's leadership is neither affiliated or compensated by the Voice of Israel. It comes from the spokesperson added that Cyberwell's funding comes from private donors from across a broad spectrum of political, religious, and communal interests. And the organization now under administration of Chikili, the Israel Minister for Diaspora Affairs. And that's about it, really.
Okay, so I'm going to have to... Can you drop the link for that so that tomorrow, when I'm more awake, because I'm quite tired now, I can read right through it and...
Yeah. I'll send you a message.
Send it to me on WhatsApp, please, if you can.
Yeah, I will do.
And then I can read through it properly. But I'm beginning to understand what you're saying. It's just that I need to think, because you've got to think 2 and 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, when I saw, when I was looking at things, and I was ill, so I had a lot of time to go through a lot of things, and I was watching it, and it was coming back to Charlie Kirk and all the Charlie Kirk situation, and I was like, "Oh, that's a little bit mad." You know, when you just dig deep and deep and deep, and you get this whole big picture. So I got this whole big picture, and I was like, "That's wild." Imagine that happened in the UK. And then next thing I know, he come round, Tommy's gone to there. I'm like, cool, you do what you're doing. And then I realised it's not necessarily a government thing, because all these other people were going and nobody said about it. Look at Winston Marshall. You would have never known he was there. So what is he doing? Alex Phillips, you would never know she was there. And that's my problem. When I know there's these programs going on, a mass consciousness program, yeah. I don't like that. Sorry, People can call me what they like. You can do exactly what you like, but I don't like that. I wouldn't like that for the UK. That's what you said to me. Oh, if America was, I wouldn't like people to come here to then push a certain agenda, or us fund people over there just to push a certain agenda. If we're fucked, we need to make it better. And Israel ain't fucked. Do you know what I mean? It's not a third world country, a second world country. In fact, I think it's going to be. I think it's more technologically advanced than many people in the West.
My concern with it all is, see, I don't have a problem with people pushing a positive message for a country. I really don't. But if they're doing it with misinformation or half truths, then it's a problem. And if they're doing it just because they want to continue to be at war and their motivation is wrong, then it's a problem. But if their motivation is correct, then it's not a problem. And what I mean by that is do people really think that Israel just want to gain control of that Gaza Strip, etc., which is what you hear from the other side? Or do we really believe that they're fighting a just war? And I've got to be honest, Danny, I do think they're fighting a just war.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
They probably are fighting it. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm never on the Palestinian side.
If
I'm never going to be on the...
Yeah. So if they want to send people to this country to try and explain to people that have got an opposing view to that it is a just war, I don't really have a problem with it. Do you understand what I'm saying? But then I do understand what you're saying.
That's not what they're doing, though. That's not what they're doing, though. They're not doing it. They're not coming here saying it's a just war and X, Y, and Z. We've seen the video. We've seen some of the videos, that have been going. It's about promoting Israel and saying that this is the land of Christianity when it's not a Christian. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's really weird. It's saying, I can't explain it in the way I want to explain it, because to make it sound how I have it in my head. Do you know what I mean? But it's like saying,
you'll have to think about it and
this is your land,
because I really do want to try and understand what you're saying. Because I agree with you when it comes to, sometimes I get sick of every time we're trying to talk about issues in Britain, the conversation turns to, well, what about Palestine? What about Israel? And I'm like, yeah, that's not our problem. Israel is allowed to do what it wants to do in its own country. We're allowed to do what we want to do in our own country. So I'll stand with you on that. I agree with you that we should be focusing more on the problems here instead of bringing other countries' arguments into our parliament, because even with the politics, we've seen people winning seats in our country in parliament based on where they stand on the Gaza Strip, and it shouldn't even be like that.
Exactly, but you're inviting it in. The more that you're entertaining that, the more you invite that. See, we as a non-hypocritical person, you can't then turn around and say, well, actually, I don't like that, but I'll let that slide. I agree with that, so I'll let it slide.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, and that's why that's why I need to read that article, and I do understand. I think I understand the point that you're making, but yeah. What you're basically saying is you can't do it for one side or the other. You've just got to let them get on with it, and there's no problem standing with British Jews that are being persecuted in this country, but it shouldn't be at the behest of going back to their homeland, which I kind of agree with, actually, because, if, for example, there was spates of murders or attacks against, let's say, Nigerians in this country, we wouldn't be sending envoys over to Nigeria, influences from Nigeria, from England to Nigeria, to come back and be telling people that we've got to side with what the Nigerians are doing over there. because it's having an impact on the Nigerians here. We wouldn't be doing that. We'd just be standing with the Nigerians here saying, listen, these people are British, and that is the onus. They are British. They're British Nigerians, and they shouldn't be persecuted in Britain. And the same thing with Jews. These people are British. Yeah, we know they're Jewish, but they're British, and we shouldn't be persecuting them because they're thinking. But you see, it's very complex. This is why I've got to think about it, because let's be honest about it. Jewish people in this country, you're probably going to tell me otherwise because I haven't looked into all the stuff that you've looked into. And maybe you will, and then maybe I've got to rethink it. But Jewish people in this country are not the ones that are undermining our governments and attacking us. They're not the ones that are putting terrorists on our streets. They're not the ones that have changed policies in favour of their people over us.
What do you mean?
Right, okay, so Danny, I can't help but notice that we've got a lot of people from Asian backgrounds that have gone into politics who seem to be in the Home Office giving preference to Muslim people. We know this is a fact now, over Christian people that need to come in. We know that Christian people are being persecuted around the world by Muslims, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't even involve Jewish people at all. Yet we're supposed to be worrying about, whether they're sending envoys over here or that. The Jewish people here are not affecting us the way that the Islamics are. We haven't got Jewish people coming in on boats from... We have immigrants from all around the world, but we're not getting Jewish people coming in on boats and going into hotels at our expense and then raping our women. We don't have Jewish women turning up at courts if their husbands are getting caught for rape and calling the witnesses liars. We don't get none of this from the Jewish community. And yes, I understand that they might have their own courts, right? But they don't override. They don't do it in such an overt way that they're saying, well, they're so pig-headed to say that the rest of us have to respect their courts. No, they only expect the Jewish people to respect their courts. They don't want to keep standing on podiums and saying, we're doing this because we're Jewish. We're doing this because we're Jewish, like the Muslim sector have done. So there is a difference in attitudes.
Oh yeah, of course. There's a difference in attitude with the British Jews versus the British Muslims, because they're living side by side and doing their thing, and they abide their cultures, and they live happily, and they look after our culture as well. They do both sides of it, which is what you would want from a multicultural place, I guess. Do you know what I mean? That's how you want. You don't want him like the Muslims saying you have to do this, you have to do that, blah blah blah. Everything's got to be kosher. You don't really have that. But that would then say the Jewish people living here are living good. Yeah. So why are we going to be rocking that boat like what we have done? We've rocked the boat of saying now we've got to deal with the Muslims because now we're taking a side, and it's not just something that's happened instantaneously now. It's gone on for decades before.
Yeah, but that's not fair, Danny, because we're not trying to deal with the Islamists because of the Palestinian-Israeli war. That's
mainly
something
it is.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Islamists.
No, that's a spin.
Before the war, before the Gaza war, there wasn't really Islamists about. How many Islamist MPs did you have? You had Sarah Sultana, you had Shabama Mahmood, and you probably had maybe 2 or 3 more. You didn't have people on the Gaza ticket. You didn't have people, all the Yaqub of today and Shakil and all of these people in Aston who only stood on a Gaza ticket. So the Islamism,
but what we did.
If you're going to look at it as political Islam, right? That's only really kick-fired and really started since that war.
Okay.
The recent one is really kick-fired.
Okay. I'll concede that, but I think that 2 things can be true at the same time. and that sometimes something that looks correlating isn't always so. So yes, there is a correlation that would at first appearance look like that it's only exploded since they've gone to war. But the truth is, it's been a long march through the institutions, through wokery, and we know that the ladder they used was positive discrimination to get into their positions of power. We know that there's been clips of Labour councillors, promising people votes years ago, before October the 7th. We also know that there's clips of councillors saying, in 5 years, inshallah, we'll have this many Muslim MPs. In 10 years, inshallah, we'll have this many Muslim MPs. And we know that it's all been for a caliphating agenda. We know that. We've known that. We've been arguing this fight long before October the 7th. And I think it's disingenuous to suddenly start saying that these people that are only surfacing and feeling empowered because they've been able to guilt trip people into believing that there's some unjustness to what's happening with the Palestinians, right? Because that's not true. The reason that they're empowered is because they're growing in number, and because the amount of people that are coming into this country demographically that are from a nation. I was explaining this on Society X today when I was talking to someone. I said, take colour, creed, culture, everything out of it. If you've got an open space and you've got 5 people in there, right?
Yeah.
And you know that 1 in 3 people is known to be is likely to be a criminal just by the laws of possibility, yeah? And then, or probability, sorry. And then you put another 10 people in there, you've increased that twofold over. You've increased it by 200%. And that doesn't have to include the nuances of culture or colour or your belief system. All it is the fact that 1 in 3 people are likely to be a criminal. And if you add 25 people in there, well, in fact, you're increasing it more than threefold. But let's say 15 people. If you have 15 people in there, you've already increased it without the nuances. And this is what people need to understand. The demographics that are coming into this country is changing the demographics and the empowerment of the people. And some people are doing it by their subcultures. And it's empowering subcultures over the masses. And we know that's through policy, Danny. You know this. You've been talking about this for years yourself.
Yeah, of course. And it is a slow walk through. People are being empowered, everything that you've said. But again, we've got to then hold that same light up, don't we? And say, what about the Israel, or not even the Jewish, the state of Israel walk through our institutions? Because you got the Conservative Friends of Israel, the Labour Friends of Israel, the Liberal Democrats Friends of Israel. They do they do the all expensive trips over there, the fact finding missions. You don't have.
I would agree with you. I think a lot of those Jewish groups need to be dismantled, and I think a lot of the Muslim groups need to be dismantled. And funny enough, when Tommy did go to his thing and he did his Tel Aviv speech, there was actually people there that were Jewish who said that the Jewish representatives over here in Britain don't actually represent
them.
Don't actually represent them. And they were British Jews that have left this country because they're not actually represented and have fled back to Israel. So,
yeah, exactly.
And they would love to come back. These people were saying, Danny, it's sad, really. These people are saying that they would prefer to be living in Britain. These are British people that we've lost. Yeah?
Exactly.
Good, decent, educated British people. Yeah.
Because we've got no control of it. And this is the point. This is exactly what I was trying to say at the start. So we've got British Jews going back to Israel because they're not safe because of the Palestinians are over here, and they are, effectively they want them to go. They want to create their own genocide here, not a killing genocide, but they want for them all to flock back to Israel, so then they can get a a proper genocide if Hamas do gain control again or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So they're trying to do this kind of, let's just move them back out of here, back to Israel. That's what they love. That it'll give them so much power, and we're not strong enough to tell them that you can't do that. That you shouldn't be doing that, or it's illegal. We're not going to allow you to do that. We're going to put laws into place to stop you persecuting British people, right? But we're not. We're focusing over there and saying, well, hang on a minute. If we give the state, okay, all these weapons and that, they can then go on bomb Palestine. So then Qatar can go then and do their propaganda mission to say how bad we are over in America and Europe. And then Israel will do the same thing with our influences and our governments and, Americans and that, to say how good it is. What's actually happening? Everyone's doing their own propaganda movement. It's just going around in circles and nothing's actually happening. But we're all invested in it. We're all caught up into
that's
it.
Because that's because we've got a weak leader at the moment, and we actually need somebody that's willing to stand up for British people. I do agree with you on that point.
Exactly there. We need people to stand up for British people.
And I also understand the point that somebody else made in your side chat a minute ago, where they say that they've had enough of the conflicts being brought to our land. But that is because we've got a weak leader. We should have a leader.
Conflict, though. It's all the
we should have a leader
well.
that is able. Yes, I agree. Tutsis and the Houthis or whatever they are. Catholics and Christians, Protestants and Catholics, all of it, the whole lot, right? Indians and Sikhs, I mean, who wants to keep seeing the Sikhs and the Indians fighting with each other, kicking off in Leicester, is it, with baseball bats and that over a cricket match? And then the next week, you've got the Muslims going at each other, because one cult cuts their head open and the other cult don't. And then you go down the road, 5 minutes down the road, and you've got the bloody Turkish going at the Greeks. Yes, I agree with you. It needs to stop. But we need a leader who's willing to stand up and say, listen, we're not having this. We're not going to give no favours to anyone. You're British. You're going to act British. You're going to be polite. You're going to be considerate. You are going to stop bringing the stuff and allegiances from where you came from into this land. Because if you want to be something else, then you don't want to belong. And therefore, go back. That's what we need.
Yeah, exactly. But
now I don't have a problem.
Need that, but yeah,
I don't have a problem with these people practicing their faith, and that goes to Muslims as well, Danny. I've got to say this, right? A lot of people will be against me for saying that. I don't have a problem with people who want to be Muslim in their own home. I don't have a problem with people that want to have that faith, but we need to get rid of the political Islam that's on our streets. We need to get rid of all this grandstanding. We need to get rid of all the infiltration that's affecting people like myself. Because let's be honest about it, if Islam does go too far in this country, it's us women that are going to suffer more than the men.
Oh yeah, for sure,
right?
For sure,
and
that's a given,
right. And that is my main problem with it all. And I whilst I understand that you might say, well, don't we need to do that with the Jewish as well? Well, show me what the Jewish are doing to us.
It's not. No. It's not what physically, mental. All this is all the same, isn't it? It doesn't have to be. Oh, are they taking over? Are they doing? Listen, there's stages of this. We've got the Muslims who are taking over, right? They're taking over the land that we're living on, right? The Muslim Council of Britain.
Will try and tell you. They will try and tell you that it's through Jewish influence that they're doing that. And that is the part of the conspiracy I don't go with, Danny.
Who's saying it?
Lots of people say it. The alt-right say it. You get left-leaning people that are in
what about what I mean is about the Muslims.
No, they say that the Jewish are funding all of the NGOs and all of the stuff, but it's not. It might be left-leaning Jews doing that. It's not all Jews. Not all Jews are in favour of Britain being overrun by immigration. Left-leaning Jews will be, because they've got the globalist agenda, right?
But,
and I was surprised to see, and I've got to be fair, Danny, I was surprised to see that they've got what they call an Israeli Tommy Robinson, who's a female, by the way, over in Israel.
Have they?
Because they've got ghettos out there, and their own Israeli country, their government, right, which is a coalition, by the way, they go and sit on the edge of the desert, and their government go out to pick them up. So we've got it by boats. They've got it out in the desert, and they're fighting against it. This is what I'm saying. A lot of people have jumped to conclusions. And that's why I said it was very interesting. There was a lot of interesting stuff that he covered, and Tommy showed us these people, because there was a lot of myths dispelled, right? So whilst I agree with you, I don't want Jewish people and Muslim people fighting their arguments for Palestine and over the Gaza Strip here. At the same time, I don't really see Jewish people murdering people from what they perceive to be, Palestine on our shores. What I do see is people that seem to be in cohorts with the Palestinians murdering Jews, and it's because of their religion and their hatred. And all these complexities, Danny, is what people have got to be truthful about.
Exactly. There's loads of it's so complicated, and that's why people, they'll say, "Oh, Danny, you're anti-Semitic now. You're questioning something," but it's so.
No, I don't believe that you are, and I think you're right.
But people will say that. People will say that, right? It's natural. This is what
Could you ask Amster Damage to come up and explain to me what it is I'm not getting? Because I don't pretend I'm the most educated person in the world, and if I'm ignorant, I need you to come and explain to me what it is that I'm not getting, that I'm not understanding. Because I don't want to be ignorant. I'd like to understand the whole situation, the way you see it, so that I can weigh things up and analyse things. So if Amster Damage would like to come up, I'd like, because he's saying this woman's unbelievably ignorant. I'm not trying to sound intelligent. I'm trying to understand something. That's why I'm having the discussion.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the first comment anyway. So it's probably one of those lot. But yeah, just jump on the link and jump up.
No, because it would be interesting if they can explain it to me. Because that's why I'm asking you to explain what it is you're seeing. Because when you explain it to me, and I might be able to see what you're seeing, then I can say, okay, you got a point. And I do agree with the point that I don't want factions to be arguing from outside heritage in this country on our land, because they should be Britain first. And I don't mean Britain first as in the political party. I mean Britain first in the way that their mindset is. I agree with that 100%. But at the same time, to try to, and I know you're not doing this, but to try to shape it that we should ignore the plight of British Jews, which you said you don't want to do, which is a good thing, but which could be a consequence of not understanding the bigger picture of what's going on in Israel, which is making the Jewish British suffer. I think we do need to understand that. And I do think that when Tommy went out there, we did get to see these nuances that I never knew, that there was loads and loads of immigrants from Africa, melanated people, that were being taken into Israel and against the people's wishes. I never knew that. I never knew they were going out.
Not staying there, though, are they?
Yes.
They're not staying there, though, are
yes,
they?
He went to the places they live.
They can't, because there's a law against it.
There's people been living there 14 years. They were on camera. He walked down the street and was interviewing these people. And some of them were talking, some of them were interpretations with Avi, I agree. So you might be able to say, okay, we don't know for definite what they were saying. But some of them were speaking in English, because we do know that English is the globalized language of the world. And some of them were speaking in English, might have been broken English, but it was clearly understandable. They understood the questions they were being asked. People were saying that they liked living there.
Yeah, I see them ones. I see when the Muslims are saying, you know what, I enjoy living here. You know, it's not what you're being told. See, these things is, it's good, it's great. You know, it's great. Let's send the people back to, you know, to Israel. Then, do you know what I mean? Send the Palestinians over there. They can live there. They're cool. You know, this is what I'm getting from it. It doesn't. It's good to know that. It's good that, you know, there's people, and we knew that anyway. We knew that there were Jews and Arabs and all sorts of people living together, you know, in harmony in the same place. You know, in 2016 when he went out there, you know, he proved that as well. So we know all this anyway. And it's good to see some of the things that we saw. It is good. I'm not. It's not even really about Tommy, right? It's about other people who went there at the exact same time, right? It's about how many people, 50 people, 50 influencers at the same time,
I get that.
All go in the same style, you know, when they travel about and they've got the windows closed, and that every single influencer you see, when they're in a minibus, it's like that, right? So I don't know what's going on. I know they do mass consciousness activities. I know from that they have a high influence in the UK government, right? I know. So when you know that there's this huge influence that is going on, and that's what these people are there to do, influence you, and the government's there to influence you. So everyone's influencing us about something that we shouldn't even be worrying about. I don't. That's what I don't get. So there's got to be some type of reason behind why they're spending so much money to have a positive. Go on.
Can I say what it possibly could be? But I don't know, and
Yeah,
I will look into it. But imagine it's like us, right? We've got people that are very left-leaning in this country that are going around the world propagating that we've all got this attitude in this country that Western white people think that they should have privileges, and that they're very racist, and that in Britain, you know, they look down on black people, and that therefore there's a need for positive discrimination and all of the wokeism.
Yeah.
And we know that they've been very successful with it, right?
Yeah.
And if we had what I would call a proper right-leaning government that went into power, or we had enough people that had enough money and decided, you know what, say the Conservatives, and say, I don't know, Farage and other people, the Rupert Lowe's, who's not that's in government but is independent, and they were to go, do you know what I really think that people really need to understand is that actually British people are not racist in general. They're very welcoming, and that they are having an immigration problem, that there is Islamic tensions within the UK, all things that are true, which is also happening, which is what Tommy does do, which is what a lot of other influencers do, like Connor Tomlinson, all the other people that go backwards and forwards, Katie Hopkins to America, Calvin Robinson, and all these other people that have gone backwards, and some of them have run away though. Calvin Robinson, I know he does talk to Thingy, but I don't really like the fact that he moved out there and stayed out there. But all the same, he's a very good speaker, and he has been a good speaker. We've had all these people that have gone to America doing this. Isn't that just a similar thing?
No, because the government's not told them to do it. The government is not paying American, or what would it be? It'll be the UK government is not telling them, do you know what? You go out there and you spread the message. This is natural. People are going out there and spreading the message because they really care about it. They absolutely care about it, right? but you know, the other people are not really, are they? They're
No,
doing it because
but our government that's in power are doing it as well.
how they who are they doing it
Well,
for?
because our government that's in power uses the BBC, which is a propaganda arm, uses Hope Not Hate,
We
which
don't
is
like that,
we
and we're
don't like
against that.
it. We
We're
don't
against
like
that, and
it
we're against
because
that.
we're on the other side. But it doesn't mean that we wouldn't use the tactic if we were the ones in power. We can't say,
Oh, that's a difficult one. I
yeah,
would,
yeah, but
I would
yeah,
be honestly, it, that's not for me. Propaganda, positive propaganda, like positive everything else, is not for me. Yeah, I don't know if I've done it knowingly or anything, but
yeah, but
if
what
I've
I'm saying
knowingly,
is, Danny, this is what I'm saying. If it's truth, it's not propaganda. If it's a lie, then it's propaganda. So the reason we don't like it with our government is because our government are not being truthful. But if we had right-leaning people in, and they were going around the world and they've got these influencers that they've got going abroad to sell the UK because we're not actually a racist country. We are welcoming. We're not against people of colour. You know, we don't think that we've got privilege. You know, that the
yeah, but
country
you're
is
looking at it the wrong way, Duke. You're looking at it the wrong
more
way.
secure, etc.,
You're looking.
etc. We wouldn't have a problem with that, would we?
You look, it's not that way though. That's not the way that you're looking at it. The way you got to look at it is the government is sending for Americans and Australians and that coming over here, so they're paying for them to come over on a
To see
fact
for
finding
themselves.
mission, on a
Yeah.
fact finding mission, and they are doing whatever they're doing, sending them to all the nice places, and blowing smoke up their ass and saying, "Now go back and hopefully you'll be positive against towards us." You've had a really good time and
Well,
blah 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 blah.
no,
But
that's not
that's not
strict.
necessarily. But that's not necessarily the truth, is it? So
Yeah,
that
but
would be
that's not.
propaganda.
That would be like what the Chinese and the Soviet Union do, but that's not what I believe is what happening. Is because they're not.
That's what they've
Then
done. The guy here,
no, no, no. They were allowed to go wherever they wanted, and they didn't go to just nice places. They went. They went to places where were ghettos, where people were living in ghettos. You could see it wasn't as nice as the rest of the country. And they spoke to the people there. And they weren't requested, oh, you can speak to this one, it's all set up. There were people that refused to speak to Tommy. There were people that took the mickey and then did speak, just like an auditor would do on our streets.
Mm.
So I don't think it was just a case of showing them in a negative light, because I don't think it puts their government in a negative light, in a positive light. Sorry, I don't think it puts their government in a positive light when they're doing to their citizens exactly what our government are doing to us with this globalization shit.
Yeah. It's I don't know.
And they were also, at his Tel Aviv speech, not only if you look at that and you see that, right? I mean, yes, he did go and speak to some people who had had their children held as hostages, and they were very harrowing stories. And I will be reviewing them at some point in the future, but I haven't done, only because they're quite emotive and they are very, very tragic stories. But and I am one of these people who's a big softie at art. I do tend to get choked up at stuff when it's very emotive. But the rest of it, you can see that really what's going on out there is that there is a movement of people very much the same as us that are being ignored by the government, right? And even though you say it's the government that have called them over, you have to remember that the government in Tommy was asking questions that would be seen as going against Netanyahu to people as well, This is why I say that I don't think it's fair that a lot of people are going, oh, yeah, he's gone over there to just suck Jewish cock. You know how some of these people are going on. Oh, yeah, that means he's a shield. He's doing this all for... No. Actually, I think that it's a case of exposing that if there is a globalization of people that have got a mindset to globalize against the wishes of each of the nationals, then maybe all the nationals in all of the countries, even though they've all got their unique problems, need to align themselves to fight the disorder that's being put on us. And I think that was more the message that came across than any of the other stuff. And I would say this, that the reason that a lot of people are against it is because a lot of people have bought into this conspiracy that Jewish people are all the same and that they're all against us, yeah, and that they're all funding all these NGOs and bringing everybody into our country, when it's not. It's left-leaning people like Soros, the globalists, and all these ones that are exactly the same people that are selling us out in our own country. You've met them, the sobbing white liberals that are more traitorous to British people than people like yourself who's melanated. You know that's true, Danny. You've lived it. You've seen it. It's a lived experience. You know, and I think that people really do need to wake up to that. And by the same token, this is why I've always, from the very beginning, said I don't believe all Muslims are the same. People used to go at me, no, there isn't no such thing as a moderate Muslim. Well, I've met some. I've talked to some. I see some. You know what I mean? Now, all right, maybe a fraction of them are doing taqiyya, because we all know that there is a taqiyya that's allowed to exist. But I do think there are genuinely people who live in this country who are Muslim that want to be quietly Muslim. They don't want to march down. They're not covering their face. They're not doing political statements where they're dressing like ghosts and fucking are not allowed to talk to you. Their husbands will shake their female's hand if their wife's there and everything else, you know, and not be disrespectful because they know they're in Britain, you know. So I think that that's what I want to get across to people, that it's more nuanced than what everybody is saying, and you have to understand that.
Yeah, it's more new. It's more nuanced. Yeah, I get everything you said, you know, and I agree with a lot of it. But I'll stick by this, you know, and I don't want this to start being into this is against Tommy and because it's really not. You know, he's my pal, like, do you know what I mean? But what I can't get by is that if it was anyone else, just say anyone else, yeah, anyone else, that the minister who's responsible for bringing people over and doing this program, right? It's all out there. It's there, okay? It's there in black and white. It's American. There's American companies have said they deal with this guy. They've taken millions off of him to send influencers over to Israel, right? That's all in black and white. The same person who does that invites him, this ex person over, okay? Invites his influencer over to go to Israel. Yeah? You would say that it would be part of the plan. It would be part of the program. You'd have to, you know? And then when you realize that other people are there at the same time doing the same things, then you got to ask yourself, I wonder why. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just look at it and I just think something just doesn't add up here. It doesn't make any type of sense. Does it matter? Not really. Like in the state of things, as he's gone over and he's done blah blah blah. Really, it doesn't matter. It's the whole process of the wording of what this government dysphoria minister does, you know, and it's the mass consciousness activities, or like Craig keeps putting up, the thing to change the way people think about something. as I said, the Qataris do it. Okay, the Iranians do it. They're doing it on Palestine side. So you might say to yourself, well, we are going to need something that is against it. Yeah, we are going to need something that pushes against this about the Palestinians. I know that's what the people are saying. I know that's what they're thinking. We need it. But then when you look at it and it goes back 20, 30 years, then what? When you go to it and you know that this disproportionate amounts of funding in the UK government, the lobby groups are disproportionate against all the other ones, including the fossil fuel lobbyists. Then you're going to think, okay, they don't pose a problem in the UK. Exactly. So why is it? They're not doing what the Islamists are doing, but it's very silent. And it's very, you can look at the,
Because if we're truthful, Danny, you're not looking at what's been going on then, and you're not seeing what I feel that I can see, and that is there is a growing Jew hatred in this country. And it started a long time. It started even when Jeremy Corbyn was in power, and even before that. There was a lot of problem within the Labour Party because of the Jew hatred. Yeah, within the left-leaning people. Now, remember, the left-leaning people are the ones that are meant to be multiculturalists, but we know that they've already signed up in favour of one cult, right? Now, if you're a country, if you're a decent country and you've got a political sway, you've got money. Imagine it was Americans. So imagine it was Americans coming here to live. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump was to notice that American people were getting attacked when they're going to their evangelical church, or, that there was a lot of posts online and a lot of white liberals that are suddenly agreeing with people that hate Americans and the threats to kill and everything else. And you know that historically there was a persecution of Americans in the past, justified or unjustified. You're going to get people arguing the toss over that. But me, myself, personally, I think the Jews suffered during the Holocaust, but whatever, right? He would have a vested interest to stand up and say, listen, you're not treating my people properly. They might be British born, but they've got American heritage, and this isn't right. I can't stand by and watch you attacking them. And Danny, we used to have that with the British government. It's just that the British government have sold out British people. We used to have it where if somebody went away on holiday, say that Jay Slater case or the latest one in Spain, right?
Yeah.
The bloke who they say is mysterious because he ended up the other end of the island, thrown off a cliff. They believe, the family do, that he was killed, right?
Yeah.
Police are saying no, it was a misadventure, whatever, right? We used to have ambassadors from this country that would go straight out there, aid the family, get a proper investigation, have some kind of jurisdiction and work with them. And not just because it's Europeans, by the way. If it happened in India, if it happened in Nigeria, if it happened in the Gambia, the same bloody thing, but the protocols would happen. It's that our government have become the traitors, Danny. Our government have become the sellouts. We have literally got the terrorists running our country. And that is my opinion, literally. Infiltration.
Yeah,
we have got, you know how it is. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. These people are pretending to be freedom fighters. But you're freeing yourself from the people who have the right to be here. Don't take the fucking piss. Don't take the piss.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing to us. And the reason that there's more funding coming from Jewish people is because they're wealthier. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah, but it's not funding as in private funding. It's government to government funding. It's lobbyists. It's people with vested interest in. A lobbyist is not going to lobby the government in any way, shape, or form if they've not got something to to gain from it.
Again,
And this is
Danny.
and this is the problem. It's not about Jew hatred, and it's not about things like that. You know, Jeremy Corbyn, he hates Jews because he supports Hamas, right? He supports Hezbollah. He supports all of these ones that want to eradicate Jewish people. So that's a problem, right?
Yeah,
That's a problem.
and who are
And he's
yes.
warned these Palestinian people who are walking about, who would easily want to kill, hurt, maim, rape, whatever, Israeli men, women, and children, right? From the pro-Palestinian side, they were cheering when the person sadly lost his life outside the synagogue 2-3 weeks ago. They were cheering. They were laughing. They were laughing when other atrocities happened to Israel. Yes, there's anti-Semitism in the UK, right? There are people who hate them. There's government members that hate them. Granted, that's cool, right? But I don't see a huge why there's a huge influence here. Why people are trying to do that influence, not just for now, for many, 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 many years. It's the same old thing that happens, you know, for many years, and it's the same script that goes over, around and around and around and around. No one's really getting any better then in that case. All of this funding and all of these fact finding things, telling the UK government to go over to Israel because we've got a nice a nice week for you to do whatever you want to do over there. So nothing really has happened. It's not stopped anything. Tony Blair's gone out there and he's been the Gaza Israel peace envoy. You know, nothing had changed.
Well, I'm not surprised
there is
because
still a
he was a
vested
sellout
interest.
for the Islamists from years ago.
But there's
Why
still
why would anything change? Because at the end of the day, as I understand it, Palestinians don't really want peace, do they? I mean,
Palestinians don't want Palestinians don't want peace.
Let's be honest. The two-state solution has been offered to those people for God knows how many years, and they've never wanted it. They wanted 100%.
What if everyone there in that saga wanted to be in that position? And that's why nothing ever changes, because it suits every single person there. It suits the Palestinians to have the Hamas, they're the terrorist leaders, because, you know, they might be able to destroy the Jews once and for all. Yeah?
And which is why, Danny, I agree with you that I actually agree that we shouldn't be ending up arguing about this. So I do agree with you on that, because look at the conundrum. We're talking about what's happening here. We're talking about the people that are attacking us here. It is not Jews. So forget any outside influence. Forget any funding that's going into our government. Jews are not bombing us. Jews are not raping our women. Jews are not fucking threatening us. Jews are not coming in on boats. Jews are not fucking crashing our system. Jews are not allying.
Whoa. Crashing the system. Hold on to that one. Go on.
You know, they're not doing any of that stuff. But Islamists are. And it's not because they're fighting Israel or the Jewish are telling us that we've got to hate these people. No, I dislike anybody that threatens my future. I don't care what colour you are. I don't like white liberals that don't want me to live. Who think that it's okay that we should turn our eyes away from grooming gangs because there are some nice Muslims.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing, you know. These liberal people are saying that, but we've also got the same people.
Here. I dropped the link for him.
We've even got the same people saying other things. Yeah, let's go. Where's the link? Wait 1 second. Evening AY. What am I saying? What am I doing?
Yeah, AY's in the chat. Drop the link. You might want to come up.
I'm dropping a link.
Because he has some interesting conversation with Muslims, and that's why I think this is what I'm saying. Look, I don't buy that all Muslims hate me, right? I don't buy that.
Mm.
I'm not that stupid, even though there's plenty of propaganda out there from people that are small-minded and don't like it that I won't side with them against Jewish people, and therefore that must mean that I hate all Muslims. No, I don't agree with that, right? But equally, I am not going to buy that the biggest threat to me is Jewish people. When down on the ground, my reality, the level that I live at and the level that you live at, Danny, we're not elites, yeah? We're not people flying around the world. I can only go by my lived experience, yeah? And my lived experience is that there are Muslim people in this country that just don't want to see that it's the problems here that are the problem, that it's the grooming gangs that we need sorted out, that it's we do not want to become an Islamized nation and have this forced on us. You know, that we are living in poverty. That we have got people here that have got needs before we even start caring about the problems of what's happening during the war in Israel and Palestine.
Exactly.
So,
that's why I have to put British people first. That's it.
yeah.
That's
At this
exactly it,
level,
Jokes.
what's going on?
Good evening, everybody.
Ian, what's that? What's that?
AY. Good
Right,
stream,
Jokes?
by the way. And it was really interesting to see the level of hate you got because you actually tried to engage with Muslim people.
Do you know what, Jokes? But I'm also going to comment, yeah, on one thing. I had a lot of Muslim people come to me and was like, yes, it's the hotel investigator. It's AY. And asking me for photos and stuff, yeah?
Told you, didn't I? I had the same thing at Speaker's Corner, AY. I would have
Jokes.
people online going at me, and I'd go to Speaker's Corner, and there'd be people who'd want to come shake my hands and talk to me.
Like, and I couldn't
Happens all
believe
the
it.
time.
Yeah? I couldn't believe it, yeah? Now, it was I got a lot of hate there as well, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I got a lot of hate there as well. But it was definitely one to remember, I'll tell you that.
Really good, yeah.
To be honest with you,
Was you,
Danny, it was the total opposite to what I expected it to be.
yeah.
I thought I was going to be a little bit more cautious than what I actually was. And yeah, it was some of them was actually agreeing with what I was actually saying. I actually asked some of them, like, come on then, like let's
Yeah.
let's ask that difficult question, you know, what do you say about these grooming gangs? And I'm not gonna lie, one of them was like, no, they should be fucking lifed off, deported, yeah, gone, you know, like we ain't standing for that.
But that's what you hear a lot about, right? You hear a lot of them saying that it's Sharia law, and that even in Sharia law, it's like murder, and we don't go far enough. With these types of people. So even that Gus Khan person said it again to Danny Tomo. So I don't know
Mate,
why. I don't know what it is.
where
Why
was
there's
Daddy
so much.
Tomo tonight?
I don't know. He was. Wait, there's a video out there that he was at Villa Park. At some point, he was at Villa Park, but no one's seen him. So I don't
No,
know.
apparently he made a video earlier on in the day. I didn't see him this evening, to be honest.
That's what At some point today, maybe or maybe yesterday, he was outside Villa Park. But I saw you. I saw Gauchi. Martin. I saw Emma. I saw so many people there, but I didn't
Barrett.
see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barrett, young Barrett, there was there.
Yeah, young Barrett was there. I kept on switching between X and
Kick.
YouTube. No, I didn't go on Kick. I just went from X to YouTube.
Yeah.
Um,
Did it work out?
He had 50 odd thousand people on his stream on X.
Yeah, it's
quite
more
a
than that. I
lot.
think he got about 65, 70
Yeah,
on
quite a
X.
lot at one stage. And I got that guy, didn't I? Yeah, that guy, I had one guy, and I'm standing in front of them all. And then they said something about Tommy, and I turned around and said, I said, so go on then. I said, so tell me. They said he's racist. I said, tell me what he said that's racist. I said, go on, tell me. They said he talks bad on Islam. I said, but Islam's not a race. They said, okay. I said, but everybody should be able to criticise someone's religion, no? Like, you should be able to. They was like, yeah, no, you're right. I said, well, so what's the problem then?
Exactly.
You know, like, what's the big deal then? And then one other guy come over and said, oh, he said if I see Tommy, I'd beat him up. I looked at him up and down. I turned around and said, mate, look at the state of you. I said, you couldn't beat a fucking egg, yeah? I said, let alone beat up Tommy, yeah?
Yeah. He actually said to them right in their faces, Tommy Robinson.
Yeah, go on, Tommy.
But they brought him up. You didn't, to be fair.
Look,
And
That's
you
what
were
it is.
mate,
Even the Sheikh did it. The Sheikh brought him up. Fucking Yakub brought him up. Shaquille brought, all the Islamists brought his name up. Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier.
they're bigger
If you-
fans
if
of
you
Tommy
remove-
than what Tommy's
Exactly.
fans here are.
If you remove Tommy
Right.
from them, if you remove Tommy for their speeches and their interest tonight, they've got nothing.
they got
Like-
nothing to go on, yeah?
You know, absolutely nothing. And that's the connection there, kind of thing.
But you know, I made some really good points to him. One of the things he said to him was about the rubbish in Birmingham. You know, you should be more worried about the living standards that you're being put in. And what was the other point you made, Why you were talking about? Oh, that was it. Why are we always talking about Israel and Palestine? We need to concentrate on Britain. And that's why I do understand what you're saying, Danny. But at the same time, I don't really know why we need to be even discussing defending or not defending Jewish people other than British Jews. I don't even understand why it has to lead there. I don't even understand, at all.
And that's the whole point. That's the whole. We should be defending British people, this soil against all enemies. All enemies, yeah.
We should come
That's it.
first, right?
Exactly. That's it. No one else. No. Not even a French policy. And I'm very supportive of the nationalist French. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What's it? What they're called now? Rally National or whatever. I'm very supportive of them.
Excuse
But
me?
even they would come second.
Excuse me?
Go on.
No, I'm trying to find someone I can get a coffee from.
No. Tell him it's the AY show, man. What's wrong with them?
Say it loud, say it clear.
Should already be up.
Excuse
Say
me,
it loud,
not
say
brilliant.
it clear.
Oh, brilliant, yeah. Say it loud, say it clear. The AY
The police roughed up AY today, though. It's quite funny.
Yeah, no, I jumped on. I jumped on that, and all I heard was him saying, I'm an interviewer, I'm a reporter, and you've punched me in the head, you've kicked me here, you've done that. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? He's dead calm about it. It's just like, listen, I'm just reporting.
Mate, I was punched in the ribs by a police officer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair with you, like one inspector, I helped him because they attacked us with fireworks. And I was standing next to him, and I helped him get away, and he was all right with me. But something changed, and then two others come and grabbed me. And once the two others grabbed me, I tried to get his attention to say, look, no, it's okay. He's a good guy, you know.
What's Danny doing?
Don't know what Danny's doing.
Oh, it's okay. My screen's a little bit behind. That's why. I've clicked over to look at the chat and check it. And I'm looking at him 5 minutes ago about the sound on, and you got your hands waving as you're talking, and I thought you were taking the piss. It was amazing. But you're again. You've done a blinding stream, Mayby. You have got the luck. You've got Jesus walking with you, haven't you? You've got something going on because.
Thank you.
No, but seriously, no matter what you do, he always ends up getting that one clip, right, that nobody else gets. And what did he get? Really good interaction with the antagonistic Muslims.
No, forget all that. No, forget all that. The clip of the night is the copper saying, "Is there a Section 60 AA here, officer?" Yes, there is. Why are them got their face mask on and a copper saying, I ain't going in there? That is
Yeah,
it.
yes,
That is the clip of
yes,
the night. Do you know what I mean?
Listen.
yes,
Literally, he said he was scared of going. The way he said it, it was like, I ain't going in there. Bang. The law is not the law anymore because these people are scared. Even though they were arresting patriots and they were coming in punching and everything, they seem
yeah.
more scared of them.
Right, look,
I
yeah, I'm
think
going
that's
to be
clip of the
honest
night.
as well, yeah. I'm going to get a lot of grief as well, yeah, because when I was standing with the Muslim lads and some of
Yeah.
them had face masks on and the old bill was like, oh, there's a section 60 in place, yeah, and
Oh
there's a
yeah, that
section,
pissed me off. Yeah,
yeah, I know it did, yeah, there's a section 6, but you've got to run, okay, look, let me explain something, yeah. One thing is, I'm always going to help anybody, yeah, that's one thing, yeah.
Mm,
And right is right, you know, the law applies to everybody, yeah.
mm.
But secondly, in a way, I want the police to run in and start grabbing them because once the police run in and start grabbing them, they're going to get in trouble. Do you know, like I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
you know, do you know what I mean? Like there is like a couple of ways to look at it, but
yeah. No, I was pissed off, but then afterwards I thought about it and I thought, well, no, actually, it doesn't matter because whether he told them that or not, the story's going to be there because if they go and arrest and they haven't done it by the law, we're going to go, well, we told you they've been doing that to us. If they did take their mask down, then people are going to finally get to see who these people are rather than masked up idiots.
yeah.
And
Mm.
if they get arrested because they don't want to abide by the law and it is legitimate, then that's also a plus because we've got these really extreme ones that don't want to show their face, who are too
Yeah.
cowardly, getting arrested. So actually, after I was at the time annoyed, and then afterwards I thought, why am I annoyed though? You know, it doesn't matter. Even whatever way it goes, it's a win-win situation. This, yeah.
Yes.
So
You know what? I'll just tap anybody really. To be honest with you, like you know, like I'll just yeah. The law is the law, but
yeah, but do you know what, AY? That's
yeah,
what I like about you. Number one, even when it was the left-leaning women that you were talking to, you were
yeah,
respectful. And that's all I ask is that people are respectful when they get into a debate. Because I know as a woman on the right, the way that the left treat me and the way that the men, they're quite insidious and disgusting and vulgar and
Good.
everything.
Listen, do you know
And
what, Troops? I'll always turn around and say, and I'm sorry, but it's like, you know, these people, if these people have been doing this for like a long time, then I will respect them a little bit more because they're not just jumped on a bandwagon. Do you know what I mean? Like they've actually been doing it for a while. Do you know
Jeeps,
yeah,
what
give
I'm
me
saying?
2 minutes. I'll be back.
Rather
yeah,
than just
yeah,
people that have jumped on a bandwagon. And everybody's entitled to their own little thing. If that's what their, if that's what their thing is, then let them have their little thing. Just don't keep involving us in it, and let's concentrate on exactly what's going on here, and try and sort here out.
yeah. And actually, the conversations that you had, I don't think when people are saying that you sold people out and you've got one coming in the chat now who's just a troll, so I won't worry about him.
Oh no, I don't even not even reading the chat.
Yeah, I disagree because I think actually you're right, and Danny's been talking about this. We do need unity. We do need people to stand up together. We do need to unite on things, but we can't take our eye off the ball on
And this is why
who has been helping people. And I do know
exactly.
that you see. That's why I started writing in the chat. Hold on a minute, AY knows what he's doing because I do have faith that you were going to pull it back. I knew that you've got your way of, and people don't understand this about you yet, and they really should, that you've got your way of actually talking to people and helping them to let their guard down to actually get a conversation so that you can put the point of view across. And that is something that should be respected, actually. It should.
Well, I don't really, let me see. I don't even really read, really.
You want to do what?
No, I just stopped to get a coffee.
Yeah, so I think actually your stream was brilliant. I can't wait to break it down tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I can't wait. And I think that also you know, you said to him, why are you focusing so much on Tommy? It was ridiculous the way that they went on.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolute nuts, yeah. Oh my God.
But that's all propaganda and stuff as well. But are your feet aching? Are you tired?
Trix, to be honest with you, I'm absolutely fucking shattered, yeah? And that's why I got a coffee at this time of night, yeah? And I've still got maybe about, let's see, probably got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
Till I get home.
And then when you get in bed, you're going to be knackered. Have you got to get up early tomorrow? Are you off anywhere tomorrow?
You'll be asleep till.
No, I'll get a bit of a lay in for a few hours. But then I will be going to Chelmsford. Yeah, Chelmsford I'll be at tomorrow, I think Friday tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna do turn left at the end. Probably gonna do Crowborough on Saturday in the morning.
Yeah, I think that one's
Where
going
in
to be good.
Crowborough?
The barracks.
Oh, they opened it up now, have they? What's that, Saturday?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, meet up with him, Danny, if you can.
Yeah, it's not too far, Crowborough ain't.
And then I'm gonna do. Depends what time that finishes.
Get him to pick you up. You've got a bad leg.
Who?
You go and pick up Danny if it's not too far from where he's going, where he lives.
Oh, jokes. Thank you, boss. Let's just wait for a boss, man. Yeah,
I've heard. Hold on a minute. I've heard your travel expenses are all covered.
They are.
Well, there you go. Then it don't matter to you, does it? If I thought I was putting you out of pocket, I wouldn't have been so cheeky. But it's not. So
listen, I'm just lucky, yeah. You know, and people can call it hard work. People can call it whatever. Yeah. I'm just lucky that somebody, and I don't really need it to be honest with you, but turned around and said, "Look, I'll pay for your rentals for 3 months," and yeah. And
but that's a good thing.
That is a good thing, isn't it?
And you deserve it. Don't keep knocking you're very humble.
Exactly.
It's a good thing to be humble, but sometimes you have to recognise that your success is majorly down to you as well and your personality. You know, you might have built on someone's foundations, but that other people came before you. But you've put your own spin on it. You've gone, listen, how many people do you think would have had the nerve to do what you did today and go and speak and stand with all those people? Did you see your chat? It lit up with people going, get out there. You're in danger. They're going to attack you. They're plotting and planning. Get out there, AY. Move, AY. Don't speak to them, AY. It was mental. It went mental.
Yeah, no.
I've never seen your chat move so fast. Then you had all of the ones coming in going, AY, you sell out. You're a lefty. Why are you talking to them? This, that, and the other. Then you had other people coming in going, he's not a sellout. He's decent. AY's the man. He's brave. Look,
you know, all them people are though. All them people are the hating crew. They're just all there because he ain't there, and they just want to try and disrupt it a little bit because it'd be very easy for him to be there. So the hating crew, are just coming in trying to disrupt. You know, we all do it, don't we? We all go into that chat. I used to do it to like Vellies all the time. I used to just drop in there and just say something about the blacks, and that's it. The whole thing's gone mental. You just disrupted it. Do you know what I mean? It's fun sometimes.
No, what I say, good.
Yeah, go on.
Every one of them that does it does us a favour. Because when they comment like that and they comment bad on us, our supporters
Yeah, I
will
agree
then
with them.
jump in, and start commenting and,
Yeah.
and defending us, and the algorithm then thinks, right, something's happening, let's send this further.
Oh yeah, it flew. It flew. I mean, I've seen his chat go fast before. I'm not going to lie. Even on YouTube, I've seen it go fast. But tonight, it flew off. You know, you couldn't even read the odd comment. It just flew. Everyone was going mental. I had to slow it down. Like, I had to literally stop it and go up a bit, and then I got to catch up again to see what people were saying. It's mental. Went mental. But and also, AY, you and the other auditors, I don't care what people say, you were quite brave, because I know that there weren't as many as what were meant to be there, but at one point they were in the middle of where it could have gone off at any minute, just before the match.
Yeah, I don't know how they did that. There was two lines of old building. All of a sudden, there's fucking right on top of you, and I was like,
Yeah, it was like
what's
little
going on
ninjas.
there?
Yeah, all come
And then
out of nowhere.
But granted, all the people on that side, you know, they just said, you know what, we're just going to try and get across, and do you know what I mean? And then it was like the police lines were fucked. There were people everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And you know, it showed the lack of, I don't know, the lack of training, I guess, or the lack of policing that the police can do to put that many people in trouble, because they were going to do something, you know, especially when the young lads come. When the young kids come, it could have been game over, because they were the ones from yesterday who were going around the place, and they're the ones that are saying, "No, we'll have it." So that's when AY's
I
in
don't
more
like
trouble.
the way that they're taking advantage of Bob, though, the police. Because he's 17,
Who?
they're coming. Yeah, I think they're coming down a bit too much on him, you know.
Bob's his own worst enemy.
Yeah, I was
I
going to
think he's
say
his
that.
legal observer.
Yeah, but I was going to say as well, AY tried to help him. It did help him, actually. And he, instead of just sticking by what AY was saying, he went back into engaging and got himself nicked.
But they were going to arrest him anyway.
Listen,
Yeah, they were going to arrest him.
they're going to arrest
But do
him
you know
anyway.
what it is? Do you know what it is? It's. Again, I'm not. I'll put myself in trouble too much tonight. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not saying a single thing. But listen to what he said, and he is his own worst enemy at the moment in time. And I think you know, things are getting above him a little bit too much. He's very, very good at what he can do. He's very good at, you know, engaging with the people. The police shouldn't have done what they did, but at the same time, I don't know. You're going to always have that. He's got to always know that if he can
Right.
expose them, or if he can do X, Y, and Z, then they're going to try and get rid of him.
Danny, I'll say something, yeah? Bob at the moment is super high profile, yeah? Like, doors are opening for him all over the place. And let me tell you, the kid's that intelligent, yeah, that they'd not be fearing him now, they'd be fearing him for the future, yeah?
Yeah.
And where he is young, and we're all young at one stage, yeah, and we're all a little bit naive, and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
I think the thing is with Bob, I get on really well with Bob, actually. Yeah, and I'll always get on really well with Bob. And I've said this to him. He just needs to sometimes. It's not about being brave. It's about being clever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Know when to fold.
Yeah, does not know when to fold. But listen, I'll tell you this as well. You know, if a police officer ever tries to give me one of these Section 35 dispersals, yeah, before he even, I will look at that bit of paper, yeah, before he even mentions a word, I'll walk away from him. Yeah, I will not let him issue me that. I'll just carry on walking. I'll let him follow me off, yeah, and then once he turns around and goes, I'll come back. And every time he comes towards me, I'll turn around and go. Because until he gives me that, shows me that man, that's not valid, and I'm not sticking to that, so see you later. I don't know nothing about it. You ain't told me, goodbye.
That's what I mean. At the start, the very start, even before you helped him, at the very start, he picked it up and he looked at it, and that was it. He's been issued it straight away.
This
He
is
said,
what
"Here's his,"
people don't realise, yeah?
and
You are not
and he said, "Let
detained.
me see what it says then."
Listen, they can't detain you to issue you this. Yeah, you just keep it moving, people, yeah? You're your own person. They can't stop you and say, right, listen, if they start detaining you and stuff, make sure that they detain you. Make sure you get it on film. Make sure they detain you. Yeah, make sure they use the proper things and then give it to you. Don't just Bob should have just been shot, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But yeah, there are things that were on the stream that was really interesting. That's what I mean. There was so much there this
I
evening.
don't even think it was warranted. To be fair,
But I'm going to be honest. I don't think it was as bad as the Dublin. What happened in Dublin?
no,
I think Dublin was. Yeah,
I felt safer here than I did in Dublin.
yeah, yeah. And I think that come across as well, way by. And I think maybe people need to realise that some of these people that are shouting and hollering are not as dangerous as what they're making out, and that really what we need to be doing is coming down harder on the ones that are dangerous. And our government know who they are anyway. They know who they are. They know who the 40,000 are on the list.
Yeah,
you know.
course.
And it just goes to show, Danny, that we might actually be able to get community cohesion and get things back to normal if they just shut the borders, sort out the mess, stop bringing in illegal immigrants for the time being, right? Get all of the, well, not just for the time being, forever. Sort out the immigration system, reduce the numbers in the future, but for now, like you've been saying for a while, Danny, just have a shutdown completely and concentrate on the problem here and root out the troublemakers, the people that are violent, the rapists, anybody that's not quite right. Get them out.
Get them out. Get them gone.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that doesn't mean
get them gone.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean every melanated person. It doesn't mean 100% of anybody, but just the ones that are bad, that we don't want, that we don't need, out. That's it. And then we'll be all right.
And any that are going to stay here, they must have to go to work. They can't be getting benefits all the time either.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I agree with that as well.
And if you don't know the language, you can't get in. You've got to be able to communicate. That's true. You've got to be able to communicate with your fellow people. Otherwise, you're not going to be getting a job, for one. Anyway, I'm going to be going off in a second because I have stuff to do, lots of things to do tomorrow.
Yeah, no problem. And AY wants to go to bed as well anyway, so.
Oh, he's driving, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got, how long you got now? 45 minutes?
No, an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh my God. Bloody hell.
It's brutal. I hate them ones. But especially when it's the one motorway. The one motorway just doesn't go, the time and the miles don't go down. And you're like, for God's sake, come on.
We got to do it, yeah.
But big up to you, AY, and all the auditors that actually travelled up the distance, because a lot of them did drive as well. Not all of them. Some came by train, but there was a few that drove. I heard them saying, and
all of them come by bus.
By bus.
By bus.
Megabus.
Oh, Megabus. I went on one of them years ago. Never again.
Never again.
Everybody said to me, oh, it's a really good cheap alternative. It's just like getting on a coach. It fucking wasn't.
Do you know what my one, right? I took one from London to Leicester, right?
Yeah.
And they got to where it didn't even get too far out of outside the M25. So maybe in 45 minutes or whatever, he parked into a lay-by and he said, you got to get into the other bus now. So he was in a nice plus mega bus with all the branding and that, and we had to get into a shitty, like a normal fucking shitty old double-decker. And I was like, you what? And then before they get to Leicester, you get to the petrol station and there's a nice mega bus going in. You jump on that and then you go off. when I did that, I was like, I'm never going on this again. This is absolute. This is a
I did it
disgrace. It was
once,
like
never again.
£2 or something. It's worth it, but no way. Horrible.
Hey, Danny,
Mm.
I've got a question for you. So I've got two questions for you.
Go on.
Two final questions, yeah? But there's only one question depends really on your answer to the first one. Did you see my interview with Paul Falk?
I saw. Yeah, I did see it. I did manage to see it all in the end. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you reckon?
It was good. It was a good interview from yourself. For me, it seemed like he was farming your engagement. And it wasn't. I don't. Do you know what? To be truth about it, what he was asking you was giving the answers. It was good answers, and it was worth us knowing. Do you know what I mean? It was worth to watch it, right?
Yeah.
But the interview, I don't know. It didn't really seem on his side and Paul's side. It didn't really seem to be anything other than trying to get into your 120,000 people as a new face when you're not about. Do you know what I mean? It didn't. I didn't see why the interview was there for.
And he docks the airport that you were coming back through.
Yeah, one
that.
thing I didn't like certain things certain things like that. You know, when he was like, "Oh, where are you coming in from?"
Yeah.
And
Why did he do
made
that?
you do the airport.
I don't understand why he done that.
And then said counter-terrorism gets him next time. Do you know what I mean? And all that was like, oh, that was a bit dodge. And there's a couple of other bits that was a bit dodge from question-wise. And I was like, why are you asking that question for? But you know, how did it go for you? More like, did you enjoy it?
It wasn't edited in any way, yeah?
Yeah.
That's exactly how it was. We done about 10 minutes beforehand, but he wasn't recording. He started to record him, then he switched his mics on, got his camera all set up perfect, but didn't realise he was recording. So pushed the button to record, but then he switched it off. You know what I mean? Well, I did say to him, that's probably your old age, geese, yeah? But you know what, I'll be honest, I found him like in person because we chatted for about 15, 20 minutes beforehand, you know?
Yeah.
Found him actually all right, to be honest with you, yeah? I found him actually all right, to be honest. But when you say about, obviously, engagement, it works both ways as well, really, doesn't it, yeah? Look, I'm trying to do the same thing, but it just gets the message out there a little bit further.
Yeah, of course, and it's good that he's changed his mind as well. You know, it's good that he's changed his mind on his opinion on auditors. So you know, you're always doing good stuff when you can get to change people's minds, eh?
Mate, I think a lot of people are changing their minds about like what some auditors are doing. Do you know what I mean? Not saying that that all of them do the same thing, because some would call DJE Media an auditor. Do you know?
Yeah, someone called him an admin as well.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for real.
He's probably going to strike my channel again later.
Why?
Because I told someone earlier on what it was.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that, AY. I had Carla on my show. She really went on in him yesterday.
Listen, I won't take them videos down.
No, exactly. You know, he can try and strike it and try and do what he's doing, but you know, the videos stay up until YouTube take it down.
Yep. I won't be taking them videos down.
No, of course not.
By what I believe, I won't take them down.
You shouldn't do. After seeing the court transcripts, I don't think anyone should be worried about telling him what he is. It's disgusting what he done.
Exactly.
And this is it. And we should all have got a knock on the door for someone, whoever, because they don't know. So they're saying, "Oh, this is fake." Then we should have knocked on the doors for fake or frauding an official court document. That's big shit. That is. And because that hasn't happened, and he's not he's not said nothing about it, and the only thing he said about it is, "I know what's going on." Good morning, Brett. Hope you well. He said, "I know what's going on. I know they're talking about us. I know what they're talking about." So then he's not coming and saying it's not true. So it is 100% true. The documents are 100% true, and all
Yeah.
these people that are surrounding around him, they need to look at they need to look at themselves a little bit as well, because I'm telling you, any of them people, and they might think it's a joke and it's all this and it's that, this, that, and the other. They come to a patriotic thing, and I can see them there. Yeah, it's going to be a different situation. It might not even be for me. I might have to just go and tell people, listen, you know that the DJ, can you move them across, because these people are connected to nonsense. And this is
You
the
know what,
problem,
Dan, as well,
right?
yeah, I
This
said-
is the
I
problem.
said this-
These things has to happen because they're not doing it themselves.
Well, I said this, yeah. The reason why he can't argue with these court transcripts,
Mm,
he's guilty, for Christ's sake.
exactly.
He's pleaded guilty. He said he's done it. He's guilty.
Exactly.
You know, like we're
Yeah,
not.
but do you know what? Do you know what? From even from a woman's point of view, once you see the transcripts, it makes a bit more sense. Because when you were here in the paper, oh, we got done for walking up to women and getting him to modelling things and bending over, and he took pictures. Even me, myself, even though I know that's bad enough, you would say to yourself, but how were these girls so naive? Not saying that he's still a horrible person, but actually, when you actually read the actual stuff and get to understand how manipulative he was and how much coercion he did, how much he did to intimidate them in a funny way, through the court paper, yeah, then you realise how deceitful he was, you know, and how much coercion he did and how sneaky he was, manipulating and sleazy. And then to keep the picture, I mean, he was literally cutting V's from the waistband, Danny, down to the vaginal area so that
Yeah, I know.
all of it could be seen.
One of
It's
them was on a
crazy.
child. It says on one of them, it says one of them was a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of them was 17 years old, wasn't it?
Yeah,
One
but
of
I
them was
think
17
under
years
18
old.
is classed as a child in that respect, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they're still a child anyway. If someone said to my 17-year-old that you're not a child, yeah, they got a problem. Right? I don't care. If an old, do you know what I mean? You got a problem. If you want to start doing all that type of stuff, you know, maybe now is different because the girls are all like influencing, and they many people wouldn't have a problem with that now. Do you know what I mean? They probably wouldn't even bat an eyelid. But back
And let's
then,
there he
let's not
was
forget,
filming young girls and that again.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I was going to say the same
exactly.
thing. Filming young drunk girls again. Yeah, and he's got.
But that's just what he's doing now.
The other day, he's got to blur the pictures out because the girls obviously get a little bit. Their tops get pulled down in the fight, I think. Yeah, and he's had to blur the stuff out. So he's probably got these videos of girls. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, twice now I've seen this. Yeah, one was at the Barbican where he moved himself. He was talking, and there was no reason for him to move. And as he moved, there was a girl walking down, and the camera was on that girl, right, or on the girl, right. So that's the first time I see him do a little pervy bit. And then that one in Manchester, you look at it again, look at the video. He moves again so he can be that side of the girl when her dress has come up.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's filming. He's just doing it. He tries to do it naturally, but he knows what he's doing. And this is why the police did it in Lewisham.
Dan, when he blurs it, it's still just because it's blurred out on YouTube. Don't mean it's blurred out on his camera.
Of course not. He's got the raw footage.
Yeah.
He's literally got the raw footage. He loves it. And that's why he shouldn't be about Manchester. He shouldn't be about doing that because, he is a danger. And this is down to Greater Manchester Police. London, the Metropolitan Police, they arrested someone on the street because he breached his HPO. He had a mobile phone or something like that he shouldn't have had, right? So the police can do it on the street. So the Manchester Police, Greater Manchester Police, need to seize his phone, see what's on the phone, and see why he's if he's in breach of his SHPO. Because this is to
You know
keep
what?
women safe.
I think this is why he can't go live. Because I bet this happens to him. But that's why he
Oh
can't go
yeah,
live. Yeah? There's probably
he just
numerous
cuts it, doesn't he?
He's too paranoid because he's too twitchy, always looking over his shoulder. So he's too paranoid for that respect.
Is he still monetized?
What's that?
Yeah,
Is
he's
he?
always going to be.
No, he shouldn't be. Not if he's doing stuff like that. He shouldn't be.
No, he's
Oh, he's
monetized.
right, Bill.
Yeah, I think a few of us women need to be making some complaints about it. I know you men are probably not going to agree because you don't think that you should interfere with someone's monetization and that, but I think it's
Be
disgusting.
careful what you say, yeah? Because this fucker will try and turn around and say that we're sitting here inciting it. He'll be watching it, you know?
Mhm.
No one's inciting me to do anything, but I'm definitely going to complain about him doing his derogatory stuff, and if that affects him, it affects him. That's me. No one else, Curtis. Yeah. But you know, horrible thing it is. But there's something going on with him anyway. Listen, the police should have pulled him up a long time ago. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not a fucking snitch or something grass. There's something going on
That's
there.
that passes through many people.
And what about now? He's got this Claire, and he's got the Viking bodyguarding him.
Well,
Well,
that Viking's another wrong one.
Right.
we knew that a long time ago, didn't we, Dupes?
Yeah, we did. And when we called it out, we had the
was
old
called
trolls
out.
going after us again, didn't we, Danny?
Yeah, yeah. It's called out, and he said, "No, it's not that." And the girl said, "No, we don't do that." Okay, cool. And then what did he do? Straight to and I don't know what Tootsie must have fucked him off. Because I haven't seen him around Tootsie, but he might have been. I don't really see Tootsie too much, but
No, he
I
ain't.
haven't
He's not
seen him around
no
him.
more. And now he's hanging around that one.
Now he's hanging around that one.
Which is
So,
weird because it tells you it's somebody that just wants to get involved in some way, shape, or form, which is suspicious in itself. Yeah.
But Ashley Britton First, she's got involved as well, and she's like put it on Claire, like telling everyone don't go to the Patriot, like the women's movement or whatnot, because she's around people who do this to women, which is fair enough. Good on her.
Yeah.
And that's Britain First, and she did it under the Britain First banner as well. So it's good that people are listening, and it's a slow moving one. People don't want to know that they're wrong. People don't want to admit that they're backing the wrong people or they back the wrong person. So it's a long, slow process, but we will get there in the end. But I really go on.
God, you want to go, don't you?
Yeah, Dupes, can you? I'll leave his running. Listen, I'll leave his running. It don't matter to me. No one can get on camera.
I think he's more interested in He's not to insult myself, but he hasn't seen you for a while. I think AY was more interested in having the convo with you than me. When you go, we're both.
He's a busy man. He's a busy man, Jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a busy man. Do you know what they did? Do you know what they did, AY? Do you know the council members and the MPs here? They took down the flags, every single flag in Medway and a lot of Kent now, right? But the Medway council.
Are you going flagging?
So we're going. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to the council in Medway Council and asking them what they're doing, because they've got the flags and they're giving it to a community movement to take the power away from the flag. But it's Remembrance Sunday this Sunday, so we need the flags to be up so we can have our possession. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going there. I'm going there then, and then I was going to do some tonight, but tomorrow we're going to be going. Don't know how successful it's going to be. I'll probably fall off the fucking ladder, but I'll give it a go.
You can't. You're meant to be going Crowborough.
Huh? This is what I mean. I don't manage my time at all. I don't manage my time at all.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you get up a ladder and break your fucking leg, you definitely won't be going. And I don't want to hear no excuses.
Oh, fucking, my leg's fucked anyway. My leg's literally fucked anyway. I come down the stairs yesterday, I turned and I dislocated it. Imagine that. Just popped out. I was like, oh, fuck's sake. But it comes out anyway. because of the ligaments gone, it comes out. So it just needs to be like clicked in. But I need to wear the boot. When it does that, I need to wear the boot afterwards just to stabilize it a little bit. And that's what happened the other day. And I was like, I was in hospital for 3 hours to collect one boot. 3 hours yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before that? I was screwing.
Blimey. Yeah, I bet you was. I bet it's painful.
Right. Go on, I'm going to let you
you're
shoot,
right.
yeah?
All right. Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
going to
brother.
go as
I'll
well.
I'll message you.
One,
message you.
two,
I'll
three.
message
Let's go. See you
1, 2,
later.
3. Goodbye.
All right. Then.
Bye.
Thank you. And that's it. That is the end of this. I hope you all. Let me just get my camera back on so everyone knows it is me. Oh no, I can't. Oh, there it is. Yes. So thank you, everyone. That was a bit of a wild one today. It was a bit of a one that went round, but the fear thing was the one that I wanted to give to everyone. Not to listen. Just don't fall into their propaganda and don't fall into what they want you to do. And everything else with having dupes, having AY was a bonus for everyone. So really do appreciate everyone who it's 1:30 in the morning, people. We are the late night crew, we are the midnight crew, and thank you every single one of you. And I hope you have a good day tomorrow. And I'll see you sometime very, very soon. So we play this one. Let's see if we can play this one anyway in a bit.